The MKT Show. It is the 18th of May. I feel great. Now, a lot of people wondering out there why. I was just telling everybody that I'd seen on my way to work. I got a new plunger yesterday, and not for my toilet. Paulo brought that up a little bit earlier. No. For my coffee. And first of all, welcome to it, sports fans. This might be the greatest day of all time. I had coffee this morning as I was getting through, as we do, morning life, all of us. And the heat retention on a higher quality plunger is worth every single penny. The fact that I won't be able to eat anything outside of like store bread and beans for the rest of the year because I paid for this plunger, worth it. At first you think to yourself, hey, what about the nutrition? What about your poor bones? What about your actual health? And then 15 minutes later, your coffee's the same temperature as it was in the kettle. I mean, this is what money's for, James. I have very little money, but when I have it, moving forward, it is all about coffee, accessories. I've had an incredible start to the day. And I'm not alone. I'm joined, firstly, by a man who epitomizes the nature of being Portuguese. He wakes up Portuguese, he goes to bed Portuguese, and he represents the essence of the Portuguese, the president of Portugueseness, of Portugueisms International, Paulo Diaz himself, and he's rocking the sporting kit from 1994. Paulo Sporting, let's go.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what
That's
I'm
what
saying?
I'm saying.
Hey?
19 years. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We still haven't got over. We played Benfica this weekend, right? Unbeaten the whole season. Us and Rangers. With two teams in Europe unbeaten. We play Benfica. We haven't gone an unbeaten season, Sporting. We played drunk. We were evidently drunk. We lost 4-3. It doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because we're league champions. COVID hotspots all over Lisbon. I'm telling you now.
No, it's going to happen.
But we'll take it. We'll take it.
You got to say, let the lads play, because 19 years.
It's a long time, and it's not, and like I was saying to you guys earlier, it's not like a spoiled fan 19 years. Oh, poor us. I mean, the club went, in Portuguese terms, to the wall. We were cooked time and time again.
And you know what I was saying yesterday? We had old Garabo and James in here, the youngsters still believing in life and kind of still looking forward to it all. I said to them, sometimes when you are a sibling to somebody, and your sibling does well, and they're in the same city, it can actually, it's even worse for you. You want to enjoy their success, but it's hard. Like for you guys, it's not like Porto have been, in the dumps. They did like 2 trebles in a row with
won
Mourinho.
Champions League.
That's what I'm saying. And they did the Europa League treble or double before.
Benfica took over our mantle as like the academy.
You know what I mean?
Because we were a mess, closed the academy. They took all the kids.
Yeah. Ruiz.
Worse. I mean, Bernard Silva went through there, Ruben Semedo, Joao Felix. They all went through. They stole from us.
So there you have it. Cristiano Ronaldo left and your hopes left. Although your
hopes left. Siblings, I want to ask a question, all right?
Let's hear it.
Jesus had multiple siblings.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, he wasn't an only child.
What do you mean?
He had multiple siblings. Lots. I mean, day and age. He had lots of siblings.
Yeah.
Imagine Jesus is your brother. Like, no matter what you do, it's crap compared to what Jesus is. Like, oh, look, I got an A. Yeah, but Jesus, the lepers, they're gone. Look what he did. I mean, the A is great, but leprosy, my guy.
Blessed are the meek.
Barnabas.
Wow, that went to place. Huh?
Blessed are the meek.
You brought it up. You gave me an in.
No, sure.
Take it.
Hey,
It's just an interrogation. I mean, people must know that he had siblings.
Shout out JC, huh?
Listen, that would be.
There's like a Barnabas Christ walking around there. No, I don't think that was a surname. But Jesus had siblings. So, I mean, imagine that. How are you going to live up to it?
Yeah, that would be tough.
Worse than being Philip Neville.
Paulo is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh. So like you're coming out firing there, Paulo.
Yes.
Listen, 19 years.
Holding material.
19 years. That's going to get you. Jesus, a sibling. I'd never thought about it until this very moment.
You must know these things. Theology, guys.
Jesus.
So now you know what it feels like to be a Liverpool fan.
In what
No,
sense?
don't compare because we never felt sorry for ourselves.
It's true.
And it was only 19 years, not 30, so it wasn't. It was like upsetting, but it wasn't pathetic. So when
Upsetting, but not pathetic.
And also, you know what makes that one, the Liverpool one, worse? Was they've stayed with the narrative of we the biggest, like 3 decades of being nowhere, basically being Nottingham Forest.
Oh,
with a
5.
budget.
We got 5, guys.
Yeah.
That's what's the thing. Nottingham Forest with a budget.
Yeah.
Leicester City with noisier fans.
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what they are.
Blackburn have outdone them in the professional era. They got there first. Leicester outdid them.
That's what I'm saying.
But still.
And to prove, there are no more than Leicester or Blackburn.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding so far.
The numbers don't lie, James. You've all got 1 Premier League title. I'm just saying what the numbers say. Please don't take it personally.
Stats, guys.
Men lie, women lie. Numbers, they don't lie. Blackburn have a title.
Neither
Leicester
do
have a title.
Shakira's hips.
They
Shakira
don't.
smiled at me once.
Where?
That's
2010.
nice of her.
Guys, yeah, 2010.
How was that?
Not Shakira.
That's who I said. I said Shakira.
Yeah, well, you never sure with a Liverpool fan.
So, 2010, yes, they had like a concert the night before the first game.
Yes, I remember that.
I don't know how the hell, I literally cannot remember how, but somehow I got a gig writing the teleprompter, right?
Wow.
So as I sat there, I had a script and all these luminaries that come up, like Franz Beckenbauer didn't read my script.
Yeah, he also
Hey?
didn't
How
pay
did
his
that-
taxes.
how did that
No,
make you feel?
But
well,
anyway, separate
I
thing.
thought at least I'm not the German taxman.
Yeah,
Okay, imagine how that guy feels.
it's true, yeah.
So everyone would come up and very politely and they say, use basic English because it's not everyone's first language. And it's just typical. Like you see them look up at the teleprompter, they go, oh, yeah, Joburg, yeah, World Cup, yeah, Bafana, yeah. Everyone goes ballistic. And then, you know, they just enter in the next band.
Yeah.
And Franz Beckenbauer looked up at my script, looked at me, and then just started talking. Whatever you want to say.
Der Kaiser, let's go.
And I was like, well, you know, I just got dissed by Der Kaiser. I
Der
mean,
Kaiser.
that's cool. And so obviously, like all these artists were performing. Alicia Keys is statuesque. Let me tell you that.
Really?
Tall, beautiful woman, but she dominates a room when she walks
Sure.
in. Fergie from Black Eyed Peas.
Not the vibe, huh?
You can't see me now. I'm shaking my head if you can't see me.
Yeah.
And then Shakira, while she walked backstage, looked up at me, gave a little cheeky smile.
Oh, wow.
I said, Gerrard, watch out, my friend. I'm coming for Shakira.
Yeah, and that was even before they got. So you knew, because I think it was even before they got together.
She
So you knew before they got together that he should watch out.
I think they got together around that time.
it was
in the
around
World
about that
Cup.
time. And I'd like to think she was thinking of me.
Yeah, she
And,
thought Paulo or Piqué. It's
Yeah,
tough.
that pathetic little script teleprompt writer in the back of stage. Look at him.
She thought to
That's-
herself, oh,
That's pathetic. What is the absolute opposite of that loser?
yeah,
Ah, yes, the captain.
yeah,
Of FC Barcelona.
yeah, the Spanish or Catalan football royalty.
What is the opposite of that loser? Let me find him.
Yeah.
PK. Right. And I'd like to think so. Whatever way it happened. That
That's
smile.
tough.
That
That is
smile.
tough.
Beautiful, beautiful. Shakira, beautiful. Tiny, beautiful.
Shame. That's hectic, huh? You went through that.
No, but she smiled at me, so that's the moral of the story.
No, that's the takeaway. Is that Shakira? How many people do you know that Shakira smiled at? I only know one.
One. Me too.
James, you know anyone?
I
that
know one person.
And it wasn't like a smile, like a on the stage smile.
Yeah.
It was like there. I mean, like where Umbulelo is, she walked past me, looked at me, smiled.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Like, Franz Beckenbauer didn't read your script, moron. Yeah, we all saw that.
Yeah.
Talk of the green room.
Oh wow. Shakira smiled at you. She is
Good story.
one of the biggest stars in the last 2 decades, and still is, by the way. Like a lot of people have fallen off. Like, think who's fallen off? Britney Spears gone. Justin Timberlake gone. Justin Bieber floating. You know what I mean? Shakira's still like Shakira.
Oh,
like
Justin Bieber is about to get cancelled. He's wearing dreadlocks. He's culturally appropriating.
It was for a music video.
Still.
Did he wear a
I
wig?
mean, I'm not saying that.
Did he wear a wig?
No,
or
no,
dreads?
it's actual dreads. If you go onto his Instagram, he's got photos of it,
And Crocs.
and he's riding around on a golf cart.
Did he have Crocs as well?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why he should be cancelled. So forget whatever. Dreads have been everywhere. You know, if you look at the history of dreads, actually they're a global phenomenon. The Vikings had them as well. But whatever. Who cares? We're in a work time. Go get upset in a corner. The Crocs is what I'm worried about.
He's more upset about the Crocs than the dreads.
That is. We need to talk about that.
We've had this conversation about Crocs. Crocs And sleeping in tracksuit pants. That's your...
What are those shoes that every single trust fund kid who goes through a bad breakup and does the yoga course in Thailand gets? I think they're called Birkenstocks. Why doesn't he just get Birkenstocks?
I'm sure he's done it.
You know what I mean? The open-toed Birkenstocks that have the cork. I think it's cork. Whatever. I've never...
Not into it.
I've never had a real existential life crisis, you know? I don't think I've ever... I've been at bottom, but I've never been at rock bottom. So I've never needed to have like tight pants in India, like most people that have a breakup. You know what I mean? James, you seem like you know the type of people I'm talking about.
Are you saying that I go to India?
I didn't say that. I said you know the type of people I'm talking about.
I have no idea that those people existed.
Why doesn't... How rich is this guy? Birkenstocks, bro.
So
The Birkenstocks are expensive though.
He's
legit.
The man I think money is the least of Justin.
He's Canada's... Is he maybe Canada's richest artist of all time?
No.
Or,
Not a
do you think
shot.
Drake's bigger than...
I think Drake has so much money.
I don't...
Dude, he's sponsored by Nike.
Dude, I think you forget how big Justin... Bieber's been big since... How old was he?
13.
Dude, Bieber's been big for nearly 15 years. How old's Bieber now?
26, I think.
No, surely not.
Oh, he is. He was born
Is
in
he still that young?
He was born in 94. So
Sis.
how old does that make him?
27 this year.
27, yeah.
So he's been big since he was?
13.
That's 14 years, dude.
I'm pretty sure Drake has been on the scene for
It's like Freddie
longer.
Adu.
Yeah, he is the Freddie of do. Well, Drake was Degrassi before, hey? People must remember Drake comes from like upper middle class Canada. Please, he's not from the streets. Let's keep it real here.
Not streets.
I mean, I'm not like...
no one from Canada comes from the streets.
Hey, listen, shout out to Drake, bro. The guy's killing it, but also, Drake, you're right. Because I don't know if James, you're like 4 years old. There was a series called Degrassi on TV. And
Yeah.
Drake was an actor, actually. That's where he comes from. Before, he was a child actor. A series called Degrassi. He was one of the main stars on that show. So he was acting before he rapped.
But his acting is so cringy nowadays.
I can't comment on that. I haven't seen anything since one episode of Degrassi back in the day.
Oh, his acting is terrible.
Oh, so is Drake acting now as well?
Well, he acts in his videos because I remember the one
Yeah.
of like, hey, Kiki, that one.
Yeah.
He's like, standing, hey, oh,
Yeah.
Kiki, what's up?
And
I'll-
it's
yeah.
all just super cringe. It's like, just don't act. There's also another one where he's standing in a room and I think he's getting emotional or something.
Okay.
And then someone comes in and he's like, yo, what you doing? Why are you crying or whatever? And he like does the whole move of, no, I'm not crying kind of up. But the way he does it is just so, it's so cringe. It's so cringe.
All right, James, kill that music. I've got a question for Paulo before we get into this. Paulo, did you watch SNL with Elon Musk?
No, I haven't watched SNL since Will Ferrell left.
Yeah, no, it's become it's terrible, by the way. SNL's been terrible for a long time.
Also, they remove their clips from YouTube very quickly. So they evidently don't want us accessing their content. So up there.
Why do they do that?
You cannot find, you immediately after the show, you'll find like a couple of clips.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, you won't find a thing. They remove it so quickly.
I wonder why.
You know,
Because rights usage. So
but they own the channel. Can't they? Can't you? If you own the,
it must be geolocked because they don't distribute in this country.
okay,
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Well, that's a whole different thing, by the way. So not good reviews because Elon Musk is getting buried, by the way. Firstly,
You know how little Elon Musk cares?
I do know how little. I do know how little he cares. He's sitting all the way on top of his money pile.
Exactly. He's crying all over his Doge coins today.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I saw there was paparazzi outside the SNL studios when he left after the show. That man got into his Tesla and he was fine.
No,
Got into
he
his
went to-
robots Tesla.
Yeah.
Flipping sky.
he's the best.
And then went to the after party.
He
Landed.
is the best. Paulo, shout out, dude. 19 years, Sporting have done it. They've broken.
Did it. And the turning point was, right, Bruno Fernandes
Yes.
goes to Manchester United. That money, Sporting are hugely in debt. They use that money to buy Ruben Amorim, the coach, out of his contract. At the time you go, these people are mad. We're in debt, and up until Nagelsmann, that was the most of a coach's transfer ever. 10 million euros. And he wins the league. So money well spent. Clever. What a good decision.
And you know what? This is good advice to everyone on planet Earth. Sometimes it's good to leave your wife for another option?
I don't think that's the moral of this
I think it's sometimes football people know what they're doing, which is very rare in the current climate. But
I don't think leaving your wife is. I don't think that. What's the word? Analogy is the moral of the story.
Well, if you look, people probably thought, oh, Bruno, it's the second coming of, I don't know, Rui Costa. He's back again, less hair, more buck teeth. But, oh my God, he's back again in Portugal. Little did they know, let him go. And then you're free. That's what you got to do sometimes, James.
Even Elsa said it. Let it go. Let it go.
like that's what Harry Kane's trying to say. Let me go. I want out of here.
Old Harry wants to get out.
Harry Kane in his gilded palace.
Shame. Good hair, though. Harry Kane, another guy, good hair.
You think so?
Good
He's
flow,
got
dude.
yeah.
Good flow. He can get the comb over going. He can get the backwards one going,
That's what
like the
I'm saying.
Italian mafia guy going.
He's got a comb over without being bald. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
He also has kind of a receding hairline, but he still kind of rocks
Does he?
it. Look, that's kind of a
Very
receding
high
hairline.
temples. Very, very high temples.
Yeah.
It could just be high temples, maybe not recede.
He's definitely got high temples,
Oh, yeah?
but he's got he's got bald guy hair without being bald guy. You know what I mean?
Bald guy hair without being
That's
bald guy.
tough. We're going to have to keep an eye on that over the next 2 years. All right,
Definitely
before we
watch
get
that.
into Harry's hair, Paulo, on Fridays, I do something called the Friday Five. This past Friday, I said the 5 greatest Portuguese players of all time. And Paulo kind of said, hey, there are other Portuguese players that existed which you didn't think about. And he thought he needs to bring that in. And what better time than when Sporting have dethroned Porto, dethroned those devilish folks at Benfica. What better time, Paulo? Tell us what you were thinking when you heard me saying this stuff. Shout out, let's go Sporting.
Go Sporting, huh?
And I only just realized that 4 of these 5 players are from the Sporting Academy. That was very unintentional. So, no, listen, it was a great list. I'm glad you did it. And your list was fantastic. And it's 5 obvious players. I mean, it was Deco, Pep. Portuguese would say Pep. Deco, Pep, Figo, Rui Costa, Ronaldo. Nobody can argue with that.
I didn't have Pep. I had Ricky Carvalho.
Yeah.
You had Ricky
Yeah.
Carvalho. That's it.
That's
Okay.
the one.
No one could argue with that. I'm actually thinking now because I saw the picture of and the 2 of them were together in the picture. And of course you would, because he was the better part of the Terry Carvalho pairing.
100%.
So I just want to add in going 5 Portuguese players that you never knew were as important as they are, right? So all those players, they're like part of our modern day success. But I want to go to a bit of history.
Yes.
It's a little bit of a deep dive. So I want to first talk about, let me look at this list here. And these players are important because they added, and I'll explain why. I'll explain why they're important. That's why I'm doing this. So the first player I want to talk about is going back to the late 80s. Okay. He was the first sort of superstar out of the Sporting Academy, which is now, not many academies have 2 World Player of the Year, produced 2 World Player of the Year academy players.
Mm-hmm.
Sporting have done that. This player was the first out of that. He is the only player to my memory or my recollection that played for Benfica, Porto, and Sporting that is actually liked by all 3. It's very seldom. Lots of players play for 1 or 2 at least. No one's played for all 3 and been admired. He influenced. So you look at this guy. You speak to Figo. Who did you base your game on? This guy. You speak to Ronaldo and 2 of the players I mentioned later. Who did you base your game on? I based it on Figo, who based his game on this guy.
Mm.
You speak to guys like Joao Felix. Who did you base your game on? Ronaldo, who based it on Figo, who based it on this guy. This guy was, if I think back to the 80s, the only player similar. He was a winger. Back then, wingers get to the byline, cross the ball in. He was get to the byline, commit men, drive at the box, get fouled, whatever. Probably only John Barnes was playing as a winger like this at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. The player I'm talking about, James may not have heard him, is Paulo Futre.
Wow.
That's a throwback.
What a throwback.
That is a throwback. Okay.
Jeez, oh, wow.
Let me tell you why this guy was important, right? So he comes out the Sporting Academy and gets transferred. Fallout, he wants more money. He gets transferred to Porto and wins the European Cup in 1987 with Porto. Okay. From there, he goes to Atletico Madrid, where that was his best and most productive period. And Atletico Madrid wasn't the Atletico Madrid. They were still a scrappy side, but they weren't this, title-bothering side at the time. But he was the striker at Atletico Madrid that at that time was consistently the top scorer, and he was the top assist creator, but they didn't measure assists back then. He was called the Maradona of Portugal, okay? And when you watch videos of him, you'll see why. So Portugal in that stage was very broken along club lines. So whoever the manager was of the national team, he would basically select most of the players from the club he had an affiliation to. And Portugal went to the 1986 World Cup and just fell apart for that reason, because the players just wouldn't bond. Paulo Futre was sort of the most elegant and the best player out of that generation, because Portuguese players were cloggers at that point. They weren't the best. And he now started validating good Portuguese players, playing at higher levels, and starring and playing a completely different game. Why he's important is because not only did then Figo, then Ronaldo, and these generations of players copy him and aspire to be him, but he could have been that bridge between this really totemic icon player to drag Rui Costa and Figo and João Pinto and that golden generation into the 90s, where they sort of had to find it out themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't have this leader figure that he could have been. But by that point, he was just so injured. 96 Euro qualifiers, he played the first game and then was just injured from there on. And he could have really made them more of a player, because 96 and they didn't qualify for 98 World Cup. They were novices. They were young. They just weren't savvy. That he could have added that. And his knees were just blown apart by then. I mean, people say he still walks with a slight limp now because of just the state of his knees. From Atletico, he started floating around, went to Marseille, went to Reggiana, one game for AC Milan, but at the time, Roberto Baggio was the number 10.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
And Baggio didn't have a great time at AC Milan, but so he is keeping him out the side. He ended up at West Ham at one point when Harry Redknapp was bringing in all the foreign players. Florian Radichoyu, remember that?
Oh my gosh, dude.
The first sort of foreign invasion. And the story goes that Paulo Futre, always wore the number 10, goes to John Moncau, West Ham legend.
Yeah.
Now, players in England weren't superstitious about, there were no squad numbers. You played a position, you wore that shirt number. That was just the way it worked. And Paulo Futre goes to John Moncau, says, listen, you wear number 10, I want it. What do you want for it? So John Moncau's like, well, what do you have to offer? He says, I will give you a summer on me at any of my villas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, any of my villas scattered across Spain and Portugal and Italy and France in exchange for the 10. Threw the shirt at him and says, I don't even know I wear the 10. Give me a villa.
That is awesome.
So that's how the story goes of Paulo Futre. Like I say, and then he went to Japan after that.
I hope he got paid all the money.
Got all the money. He was a director at Atletico Madrid for a while. But he was super important in the scheme of things. And probably the reason we don't remember is because he didn't follow into the 90s. He just couldn't go with that team. So that's the first Portuguese player I want to tell you that's way more important than you ever realized. James is Googling him. Look at his hair.
That's a good one.
I don't think I can spell his name right.
Futre.
F-U-T. Right, that's where I went wrong. F-U-T-R-E.
There is a video compilation on YouTube. The first one that comes up when you look for Paulo Futre. F-U-T-R-E. It's to the backing track or to the song of Guns N' Roses' Knocking on Heaven's Door. And that's what Paulo Futre was. He never got in, but he was always knocking. You watch that game, he's as modern a winger as you're going to find.
Born at the wrong time.
Just that's it. Just 100% born at the wrong time. The next player, more important than you realized, goalkeeper. Now, currently, Rui Patricio is going to go down as the best Portuguese goalkeeper ever. He's won the titles, he's got the clean sheets, he's played the games, and that guy is, even on a bad day, he's 7 out of 10. Solid, good, dependable. But the goalkeeper he replaced, both at Sporting and in the national team, is a guy called Ricardo. Now, you may remember this guy from Euro 2004.
Oh, yeah.
He was an orthodox keeper. Short, weird distribution style, couldn't get crosses, but a real character and a real leader. Now, Euro 2004, you've got guys like David James and Van der Sar and Buffon, and I think Kahn was playing for Germany still. So he just was not like that. He was probably more like Barthez, but without being the big character. He was a big character. He just Probably wasn't as good as Boatez. But comes to the England semi-final penalty shootout. He steps up, crucial to take he's facing Darius Vassell. And as Darius Vassell walks up to the penalty spot, he takes his gloves off and throws them on the ground. So guess what happens? Vassell completely loses his nerve, and Ricardo saves the penalty. Gets up and now goes to pick up the ball to take the match-winning penalty against David James.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
Scores it. Everyone goes mad. He tells the story. He said before the penalty shootout, and they find the video of Eusebio talking to him. And Eusebio tells him, you know what? In a penalty shootout once, the goalkeeper took his gloves off, and it messed with my head so badly. I still scored because I'm Eusebio. But this is Darius Vassell, so he's not going to. Who did Vassell play for? Aston Villa legend. He was
and City,
journeyman. Rubbish City legend.
Yeah.
So Ricardo not only saves the penalty with no gloves on, then he goes and scores the penalty. Absolute madman. Why he's important is because up until Euro 2004, Portuguese soccer didn't believe in itself. We were underdogs. We were like, I'd imagine like a Serbia or Croatia. Lots of talent, but just no confidence. Portuguese people don't have that inbuilt confidence. There's an arrogance, but that's why Mourinho stands out so much. Why Ronaldo stands out. That's totally against Portuguese.
Yeah.
They're not like that. And Big Phil, who was Chelsea coach, instilled that in those players. And for a player to step up, go, I'm not even the best goalkeeper probably in my squad, but this is what I'm going to do. And it just had a ballsiness, an attitude of going, we are Portugal and we are confident in our abilities and we'll do things to win. And it was such a turning point. Unfortunately, we didn't win that tournament, but it set us up for this success that we later on had. So that's my second Portuguese player.
But I got to jump in there. I see you've left out Vitor Baye there as an option. Any bias because he was a Porto guy?
Vitor Baye was a great goalkeeper, but he wasn't part of our success. So he was in the 96 squad, and then by 2000, if we're talking about players way more important than you thought they were.
I see what you're
saying.
I'm
looking at players who had a moment, and Vitor Baye never had a moment. Vitor Baye was a great goalkeeper. I mean, he was Mourinho's man. He was one of Mourinho's leaders. He was a very good goalkeeper for Portugal. But he just didn't have a moment.
I know what you're saying. Sport is a moment.
Yeah,
sport is moments.
He just didn't have his moment for me.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Just checking on your privilege there. You know what I mean, James? A lot of people sporting. Just ignore him. Won 2 trebles in 2 years at Porto. Changed the history of Portuguese football. Parkan left him out, but now it makes sense what you're saying.
Vitor Baye, I'll say now, Vitor Baye was 10 times the goalkeeper Ricardo was.
But I hear you. The character makes a difference.
Played had his big chance at Barcelona, didn't quite work out. 10 times the goalkeeper, but he didn't have that moment.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? That what I'm saying here is players more important than you realize they were. Next one up here is Ronaldo is Portugal's top scorer by quite some way.
Correct.
Third is Eusebio.
That's crazy.
Second is my next player, more important than you thought, Pauleta. You ever hear of him, James?
No, I think you've mentioned him a couple of times, but I don't think I've ever heard
bald
of him.
patch guy.
No, he wasn't.
Was he not bald patch? Or just thin?
No, he had James type hair.
Oof, I don't know if did Pauleta have that?
But it was always shaved like on a 3.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. So it was hair, but it was just hair, but not a hairstyle.
You know who reminds me of Pauleta before you get into it is Maupe.
Yes. So that's a very good modern day comparison. So Pauleta is Portugal's, all the players we've had, he's still second top scorer for the national team.
That's unbelievable. When you think of the Portuguese attacking talent in the last 15 years, that is incredible and a credit to his game, dude.
Now that's why it's important, because when you've got Figo was at Barcelona and Real Madrid feeding Ronaldo and Rivaldo. Rui Costa was at Fiorentina feeding Batistuta, and at AC Milan feeding Shevchenko. These guys want to create. They're not going to score. Yes, they scored free kicks and they'd score the odd goal. Pauleta only lived for scoring goals. That's all he did. And Portugal, for a time, was, what's the word? We call them fanny merchants. That he just sit on the edge of the box and just pass. And I remember games of Portugal would have 30 passes on the edge of the box. Sideways, in, out, in, but never doing anything till someone takes a long shot. Try driving the box, try buy a foul, don't get it. Suddenly Pauleta comes in, and this guy's scoring The ugly goals, the rubbish goals. Play Andorra scores a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Play Luxembourg scores 2. You know that dirty, ugly work you got to do to qualify like Harry Kane does?
Yeah.
Just ugly,
Yeah.
terrible, just scrappy,
Yeah.
but only lives for goals. Eusebio, Ronaldo, Pauleta, only Portuguese players to score a hat-trick in a World Cup.
That's unbelievable to me.
So what he was doing is at a time where we were building this team, his ugly goals were getting us to tournaments and progressing us and making us better. He never had great tournaments. He scored that hat-trick in 2002 against Poland, but didn't do much else. Euro 2004, he hardly played any games. Nuno Gomes overtook him, took his place. But when we needed to be in tournaments, he got us there. You knew. Figo, Rui Costa, João Pinto behind me. Put it in, I'm going to score. At PSG, Zlatan became top scorer, and then Cavani became top scorer. Guess whose record they broke?
That's Pauleta.
Pauleta, up until Zlatan, and we're talking olden day PSG, he set the PSG scoring record that these guys now broke.
They had George Weah, by the way.
Pauleta was their top scorer until recent times. And this isn't this is PSG when they're getting in relegation battles. This is not modern day glamour PSG. He never had a glamorous career. He didn't play for any big clubs. PSG, in hindsight, but back then they were no good. They weren't what they are now.
Sorry, I was actually going to ask you, now that you mentioned it, I'm looking at his Wikipedia, and he doesn't actually have like this long list of like Real, Barca.
No.
Like PSG is the last club on the list. If he was such a, and looking at his stats, he kind of is a prolific goal scorer. Why wasn't he snapped up by like, the Liverpool or, the bigger clubs?
The chances came, he never took them. He never played in Portugal. Never. He went very young from amateur football into Spanish football.
Yeah.
He was at Deportivo. Deportivo went to Bordeaux.
Hey, Deportivo was not the time to be there as well. Diego Tristan and Juan Valeron had a thing going up front where you are not getting in.
I don't even think he played for Deportivo, James. Am I right?
Shout out Man United fans. They know what I'm talking about. Diego Tristan and Juan Valeron put on...
And Aldo Ducha.
They put on maybe the performance of... Maybe the the noughties, by the way, beating Man United 3-2 in that famous game with Diego Tristan and Juan Valeron doing the most, and along with Walter Pandiani, Uruguayan international.
The rifle.
That
was
front
it called the
three,
rifle?
Is that what he was called?
He was called something like that. The shotgun or the rifle.
For you youngsters, go and look up a guy called Juan Valeron. Go and look up Diego Tristan and Walter Pandiani. They had about a 4 or 5 year run there, which is why Pauleta didn't get in. That was the time.
Was it that Deportivo team that came back against AC Milan? They were 5-0 down in one leg and won 6-2 or something. Mad like that.
It must have been. I mean,
they were mad. They were a mad side.
Who was the Manuel Pablo at right back, the Romero at left back?
They were a mad side.
They were insane.
They were just hooligans, actually.
Diego Tristan. I'll never forget that name. Anyway.
So that's the time Pauleta was there. And you're right. The opportunity sort of to move to bigger clubs were around, but it just wasn't him. It just wasn't. He just didn't want the limelight. The guy just lived for goals. Okay. So that's probably why he never moved.
He was being tracked by Newcastle, Aston Villa, and Sunderland while he was at Bordeaux.
Well, Newcastle, I remember at the time, and Newcastle were top. Bobby Robson was there at that time. So they
were really good.
It just wasn't him.
Okay.
He just didn't want the limelight. But he's important. You see why he's so important. You need a guy to score the ugly goals, or you're not going to tournaments.
You do.
And then your figures and those guys can take over. You got to get there. I'm going to bring two, going to close it off quickly. Bring two that we probably know now. Portuguese player you didn't realize was as important as he is Ricardo Quaresma. We've mentioned him a few times. Speaking of Sporting, 19 years. Ronaldo and Quaresma had just broken into the first team last time Sporting won the league. That's how long ago it was. At the time, Quaresma was touted as the bigger talent. I watched him. He was better. Ronaldo and Quaresma used to play for the Portuguese youth teams. They used to terrorize. They'd flip wings, they'd go centrally, they'd drop deep, and they'd just terrorize. They were given free reign to do what they wanted, and they just terrorized. And Quaresma, at that stage, I remember watching him, looked readier. He was stronger, he was smarter, he had a finished product. Ronaldo, you'll remember, was too much step overs and wild shooting, and you could get into his head and diving. Quaresma wasn't there. So, of course, Quaresma was now in a bidding war. Juventus, Barcelona, Manchester United was sort of involved. Real Madrid, and Sporting invited it. Ronaldo wasn't in that bidding war. People were watching him. He had gone to Arsenal, and people were scouting him, but not bidding like they would with Quaresma. So Quaresma goes with this massive move to Barcelona. Kid goes to Barcelona, huge price tag the same summer. Ronaldinho comes. So now it goes, wow, Ronaldinho and Quaresma together. Wow, this is match made in heaven. Ronaldo only this following summer, season's already started, does he move to Manchester United with no pressure. Quaresma's got the whole world in on him. And now what happens? Ronaldo goes into the perfect environment to now build his game. And now the good of Ronaldo comes out. Quaresma is in a terrible environment, thrown to the wolves, no one looking after him, and all the bad stuff of him comes out. And they're not dissimilar people, both from poor backgrounds, both from disenfranchised communities within Portugal. I mean, Ronaldo's from Madeira, which people from Madeira were seen as poorer and uneducated and a little second rate. Quaresma's from the gypsy community in Portugal. So, you know, they're both marginalized, got the same makeup, but one's looked after, one is thrown to the wolves. Then he makes some bad choices, goes to Inter, spends some time at Chelsea, then at very young goes off to Middle East football. And you go, all right, guys, go on, forget about it. We'll never hear from him again. He took all that pressure off Ronaldo because everyone was going, what's Quaresma doing at Barcelona? Oh, listen, Ronaldo's going to Manchester United. Oh, but he's on the bench and he doesn't play. And the deal is he'll be phased in. Quaresma's starting. Why isn't he scoring? What's going on? Bin him. Voted the worst player in Serie A when he was at Inter.
Hectic.
I hate those things because he's not the worst player. He's the worst player you can think of.
Sure.
So when people go, the worst movie of the 80s, Breakfast Club. No, this is the worst movie you can think of.
Oof, yeah, that's tough on the Mighty Duck Man and his crew there.
So you know what I'm saying? So Quaresma takes the heat off Ronaldo for Ronaldo to develop and become the superstar. Quaresma then has this late career revival, comes back to Porto, goes to Turkey, wins the Euro with Portugal. So I'm glad he had this redemption arc. But at the time, he took that pressure because it was the other way around. And Ronaldo made the... Imagine Ronaldo going to Barcelona at that stage, being thrown to the wolves. What would we have now? Talent-wise, they're the same.
One thing I said about Cristiano Ronaldo, and I will say it about him until the day I die. And it's why I always say, just in life in general, I don't care how old you are, give me smart, don't give me talented. Is that smart people, it's not just book smart. Smart people do this better than anybody else. They make good decisions. And I don't know who it was with Ronaldo at Sporting. I don't know how it went. Because Ronaldo, it was now coming clear, especially after that performance, because the story obviously goes, they played United. John O'Shea is still not sleeping to this day after what Ronaldo did to him at the age of 18 with the football there. But whoever decided, and I don't know if it was Mendes, I don't know, whoever was in Ronaldo's corner at the time, Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't care what you think of him, has made incredible decisions from that very day until now. And smart, that's not a mistake. It's somewhere in his character, whether it's his mother, his upbringing, whatever is in Ronaldo, is that guy smart. And I tell smart people, quite frankly, you know what, Paulo, you've employed lots of people. Quite frankly, I don't care about your school marks. I like people that can solve problems. And Ronaldo, whatever it is, has made phenomenal personal, professional, and business decisions for 20 years now. It's 20 years. Like, that's what it is. And you know what? Shame for Quaresma. But I think it also, and Paulo, you've employed far more people than I have, but it's a good indicator to young people. I don't care how talented you are. Find good leadership early. And Quaresma, I mean, we all remember. Listen, there's a lot of people that'll forget. This guy, 18, 19, 20, we all saw him doing Rabonas in the match as though it was a 5-yard pass. It wasn't like, oh, I can't believe he did it. For him, it was just like, oh, no, this was the best option.
You'll not find a better player.
And he's, how many Rabona goals, by the way?
And Trivelas, that one we hit
the outside of the foot.
With the outside of the foot. That's his custom move.
But again, folks, hate to say it, always, the rule is character over talent.
Well, I have to say about Quaresma is that he made the decisions that, it looks like he made the decisions that he thought people wanted him to make in the beginning of his career. Since then, he's made savvy decisions. Going back to Porto, going to Turkey. He's still playing. He's still playing in the Portuguese league now. His announcement video, because his nickname's the Mustang. His announcement video.
Perfect nickname.
He rode into a castle on a Mustang.
Perfect.
A Mustang horse and then got into a Mustang car. That's Quaresma.
That is the nickname for him as well.
Is that his latest?
Because they said he's uncontrollable.
That is the perfect nickname for that man.
Beautiful but uncontrollable. And from young, that was his nickname.
Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it because imagine, you know what? His whole life is different if he goes to Man United.
And there was a stage where Ferguson wanted both.
Oh my God!
I remember that.
Keroj and Ferguson wanted both.
Oh my God!
But Sporting had started the bidding war that just United would say we're not getting into that.
Man United, and I'm not joking. Man United then go on to win probably 4 or 5 more titles easily.
Ferguson saw them as a replacement for Giggs and Beckham.
Oh my God!
On the flanks.
Could you imagine those two with leadership?
And what would Quaresma be?
And Keane and Ferdinand and Vidic and you know. I think when you look at a personality type like Quaresma, is that if he was at United with Ronaldo, he's that guy who's not letting Ronaldo outshine him, and they are taking United to next. Because look what happened with Tevez and Rooney.
Oh, and the way exactly that's exactly what I was going to say.
Raw talent, he was better than both. Do not tell me he wasn't. Oh man, that is a really good one. Because listen, he was also, for me, when I think of Portuguese football, it's a tough one. Rui Costa, no real personality. I mean, in terms of the technical quality, I mean, it's there. Figo wasn't really a big personality.
But this is what I'm saying.
When you think about Quaresma,
that's what I'm saying. We don't have. That's why Ronaldo and Mourinho stand out so much.
Yeah. But Quaresma is like that guy. The Mustang is perfect. He is the Mustang. I think Portuguese football, and I go, oh, Ricky Quaresma, remember the Rabona? He's superstar.
I'm so glad he had his moments in the Euro. I'm so glad. And I'll finish off on that and why. And the last Portuguese player that's more important than you think is Nani. So
Lewis Nani.
Let me tell you about Nani, right? United supporters are divisive over him because he was relatively inconsistent. Liverpool supporters think he's a big baby because he cried when Jamie Carragher took a quarter-pound sirloin steak out of his shin. God forbid the guy crying.
Probably spat at him as well.
I'm just saying.
So say what you want. He is divisive.
Yeah.
Nani's only sin is lazy journalism who thought he's the next Ronaldo. Because he came from the same club, plays the same position, must be the same player. And because he wasn't Ronaldo, of who has been in 20 years.
And different player anyway. More of a classic winger.
That's Nani's fault.
Yeah.
The season Rooney was top scorer, Nani was top assist provider. Consistent, always played well. He's still playing today, MLS, scoring goals for Orlando. There's actually even talk, because the Euro now you can take 26 players. There's even talk of going, put Nani in. If you got 3 extra places to have a guy who's a good character. Pro's pro, works hard, will take his time on the bench, and by God, if we need him, he can come in and give us 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Why not take Nani with? And why those last 2 are so important is because they're Ronaldo's generals. Them 2, along with João Moutinho, are Ronaldo's guys. Those are his guys. That's why if Ronaldo has a say on the squad, which he does,
Sure.
Nani's going. Because when Portugal's criticism was going, oh, but they're Ronaldo's team. They're a one-man team. In the biggest game of our history, Ronaldo goes out early. And now goes, okay, well, there we go. Nani walks to Ronaldo, takes the armband, puts it on. Quaresma replaces Ronaldo. Those 2 ran themselves into the ground that whole match and stood up. They were the leaders. They're like, we're the guys. We're going to lead this. And if not for them, and if not for them for stepping up and going, oh, Ronaldo's off, what, poor us. They showed their talent, they showed their ability, and they lifted the team. And those are Ronaldo's generals, those 2. Best friends since he was a kid, and one his mentee. Nani was 100% Ronaldo's mentee. And those are the guys he trusts along with João Moutinho. And if not for Ronaldo, not for them, their ability, their character, them stepping up. Nani played centre forward that game and chased the French defenders for the full game, would not let them settle on the ball. Where's a glamour, lazy winger going to do that? He's not that. So for me, Paulo Futre, Ricardo Paleta, Quaresma, Nani are 5 Portuguese players more important than you thought they were.
Yeah, I like that list. And that Nani one's a really important one. And to what I just said now about Quaresma, I think would have flourished, is I thought Nani, first of all, completely different player. So no, lazy journalism, like, Nani was up and down. Think more Giggs than Ronaldo. You know, up and down, disciplined, and player, 2-footed. But there's 2 elements to it. I think Quaresma probably flourishes more in that environment. Nani, just looking at the personality type, I mean, naturally would sort of genuflect to Ronaldo in that environment. Is Ronaldo, as you can see with Messi, is that's fueled Ronaldo. I think Quaresma, you need that, a little bit of that streetness. Like, to me, Nani just seems like a guy who loves football. I just want to play.
Well, he's still playing now, evidently, yeah.
Whereas Quaresma's going, Cristiano did what? And Messi's doing the same. Is that probably fuels those types of guys? Listen, the last thing in the world you want to be is the guy after the guy as well.
And that's unfortunately where Nani was left. I thought, well, when Ronaldo goes, Nani's going to step up. And it's just not who he was.
Yeah.
He was on the Man United podcast, and there's two funny stories about it. Is he had scored an own goal in a Champions League game, and they arrived back at Manchester, and it was late at night, and they're all going. And Ferguson, after the own goal, turns to Nani and goes, "Oh, we stay in the same street. You're giving me a lift home." And Nani's like, "Oh God." He didn't say anything to me in the change room, nothing on the plane. Now we've got to drive half an hour home, late at night in the car. Maybe he'll talk to me. Said Ferguson gets in the car, looks out the window the whole way home, just stops off, gets out the car, goes inside.
Incredible.
Didn't say a word to Nani. And Nani then tells the story. There were matches when it comes in halftime and Nani's like, "God, I had a terrible half. I sucked. Ferguson's going to let me have it." And suddenly Ferguson turns on Rooney and starts having a go at Rooney, who had a great half. "Why are you not crossing? Why are you trying to beat your man? Why are you going down so easy?" And Rooney's like, "Don't tell me." So Rooney's going to go back at him. But he figured out Ferguson used Rooney, Ferdinand, guys who could take it as a way of getting the message to Nani. Because he said, if Ferguson ever spoke to me like that, I'd break down. I'll tell you that I didn't have the strength to have him one-on-one with me. But if he wanted to get a message to me, he'd have a go at Rooney. And then I'm walking out on the pitch and Rooney's having a go at me. He says, "You see, sort yourself out because I'm tired of taking the heat for you." And then it lifts him. But he said that was the magic of Ferguson. He said
crazy.
He knew me. He knew that if he went at me, and second half I'm way better because I go, "God, Rooney's taken it for me." And the whole game, Ferguson doesn't say a word. I've got Rooney staring at me and giving me dirty looks the whole game, and now I've got to lift it. But there's two nice stories to tell, yeah.
And it's a fantastic story because, hey, listen, that's what great leaders do, right? Is they always talk of Shankly and they always talk of George Graham and they talk of Fergie, is that their greatness is not the coaching.
Yeah.
It's the psychology. You hear all the great NFL coaches. I love all the documentaries. The guys keep saying, no, it wasn't the coaching. The guy understood me as a person, what got me going. And great leaders coach through others. That's another thing. And it's why I always say United cheated the code. Because when you had Keane in there, it was almost like you had Fergie when Fergie wasn't there. And then Fergie could, some of the stories they had in the dressing room are now legendary. And you think to yourself, oh my God, Fergie. And this is why Fergie still says that's the best one I've ever had. And he had Stam, and he had Beckham, and he had Giggs, and he had Van Nistelrooy. He still...
Even before that, he had Brian Robson.
And they hate each other from everything public.
Yeah.
And Fergie still in his book says that's the best one I've ever had. And that just tells you the greatness of the man. You know what that tells me? And that's an incredible story. Look, let me tell you a personal story that's going on right now. Obviously, I work with Gareth Cliff, and he is what he is to people, polarizing to say the least. And people ask me what he's like, and people presume he's got an ego, right? And I'm not just saying this because we work together. And I always say no, because for me, there's only one rule to know if somebody has an ego. If you're lazy, I know you've got an ego, right? Like I can associate that. But Gareth works, he works like a dog. What it tells me is that Fergie has no ego.
Yeah.
That is zero ego, because it takes time to understand people and the work that goes into dealing with it and creating those situations. Because there's no way Wayne Rooney is thinking that way in the dressing room.
No.
But Fergie's figured it out. And
Rooney's walking and going, "Oh, I had a great first half. I was fantastic. Nani sucked. I was great." And then he has a go at me.
I mean, Rooney probably figured it out at some point, and he was like,
He did, yeah.
Listen, greatness has no ego. Because that is telling you Fergie understands people. He understands himself as well. Fergie, and you have to understand yourself to understand people. And man, that is awesome. And for Nani as well. Dude.
And he says the story about when he scored an own goal the next day at training. Walks in, Ferguson gives him a big hug, like nothing ever happened.
Amazing.
But he said that half an hour of silence, he said, killed me. I didn't sleep. He told me everything he wanted to say without saying a word to me.
That's awesome.
"That's insane."
That is an awesome story. Hey, listen, Jimbo, shall we hug it out?
Let's hug it out.
We'll have a little intermission. Before we do that, if you are with us on the YouTubes, please click a like. If you don't like it, dislike. I mean, be honest. You know what I mean, James? Just be honest.
Don't lie to us.
Yeah, don't do it. You know what? It's the lies. It's the lies, James. How many times have you heard this in your relationships? you know what? I don't care about everything else. It's the lies, James.
I think I've barely heard that. Actually, genuinely, cross my heart, hope to die.
I don't believe you. But you know that exists. It's the lies.
I do know it exists.
It's the lies that kill me. You're destroying us.
Jonathan, it's the lies.
You know what?
It needs to stop.
James, every time you lie to your girlfriend, you are destroying your relationship. Right? Just remember that moving forward. Live by that ethos. And I'm in a relationship with the people who listen to this show. Don't lie to us. If you like the show, click like on YouTube. If you don't, dislike. By the way, podcast available on Spotify, cliffcentral.com, Cliff Central app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Google Podcast.
Yeah, Google Podcasts. It's
a new app called Brocasts. We're just apps featuring bros.
Ooh,
come on,
Brocast.
Why is that not a thing? That needs to become a thing.
I know an app developer. I can ask him.
Only apps. Only pulls in apps from bros.
Yeah, but so it's not about the quality of content.
Patented on the show at, what's the time now?
13:03, 26 seconds.
What's the date? 14.
It's the 18th.
The 18th. Oh, let me try again. 13:03, 18 May. Go back on the tapes. If anyone invents Brocaster, we have it first.
Or Brocasters, plural, because that was the original one, right?
Brocaster/Brocasters.
Yeah.
It is now legal.
There you go.
IP.
Anyone steals it?
It's legally binding.
Death.
You can go to prison, and
Yes.
I heard that you can get the death sentence.
Or death. Just death with a sword like Game of Thrones.
Jeez.
Pretty much.
So don't steal it, people. Or steal it and then like go into business with us, because we're definitely not going to do it.
The listeners are probably like, they've been going to intermission for the last hour now. What's going on?
That's a good idea. Steal it and then get into business with us. It's because the admin's so hard.
To
Anyway,
avoid the beheading. Putting on the App Store.
Oh,
God.
beheading's
Lord.
terrible. If you haven't seen, I forget what the dad's name is on Game of Thrones. It was so long ago when I watched it. James is obviously a heathen. Paulo, you also one of those heathens that hasn't seen Game of Thrones.
I went through 6 months off work with a broken leg, basically bedridden, and lockdown. And I did not watch Game of Thrones. I will not now.
Incredible. Ned Stark.
That's some good stuff.
Ned Stark is who I was thinking of. It came back to me. I'm aging. Ned Stark. You think he's the hero. He's the dad.
Oh,
They behead him. Listen, you come up with you steal this idea and you don't come into business with us. Let's get a sword. Let's chop your head off. It's a metaphor.
let's get it done.
James, let's hug it out.
Let's hug it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the MKT Show. See you in a bit. By 30, you got to know who do I need to stay away from? Who plays into my ego? Who serves me best? Both people, situations, and you got to put yourself in situations to not lose. It's tough to put yourself in situations to win all the time, but by 30, you figured out, hey, I lose in these situations. If I'm around these people, they appeal to my ego and I act a certain way. We've all had a girlfriend going, I don't like it when you hang around with so-and-so. What she's saying is you become a certain type of person. When the boys are around, she doesn't like to be around you. That's a real thing. You need to know that certain people trigger certain things in you. Folks, Eden Hazard is a generational talent. He is a generational talent. You don't have to like what I'm saying. It's true. The things he did at Chelsea, at Lille, generational. Insane. But this is what we do in life. And Chelsea, I do blame my beloved Chelsea for this. They let him get away with it for too long. Because we do this thing called production tolerance. Right? If you're producing, we'll let you get away with anything. Eden Hazard would be pitching up overweight for many seasons at Chelsea. At the beginning of the season, everywhere he's been, for the last 4 or 5 seasons, I'd look at Hazard and I'd go, is that guy powerful or is that Christmas pudding? He was always overweight at the beginning of the season. And he got away with it. And again, it's this new mindset of if I'm talented, they'll let me get away with it. It's the new mindset. The young kids, I work with young kids now, this is just what they think. They think they'll earn the respect just by pitching up. The MKT Show. We have returned. We intermissioned. We chatted. We laughed. We shared good times. And then we returned.
And here we are.
And here we are, indeed. James, fun for you to learn about some players from the 90s, 80s, some guys, some Portuguese guys.
It was all very interesting, actually. Yeah, very, very interesting. I had no idea that those players were actually so influential, mainly because I wasn't born.
Not an excuse. Again, I know I used the example yesterday. I wasn't born when Genghis Khan was around, but I'm still aware of
who he was. Huh?
Yeah.
I think it's not James's fault. It's that I was very lucky in that I was exposed to other football. Just one other league, and then it makes you interested, and then those players move to other leagues. I feel very sorry for people who only have the Premier League as a reference, and the Premier League does it on purpose. But I mean, like, football's so rich. There's football, and then there's the Premier League. And like a lot of people just, Premier League's so overexposed that, there's lots of cool. I mean, like this year in Europe, Portugal's got a new champion. France could possibly have a new champion. Italy's got a new champion. Okay, they're also not paupers, but Italy's got a new champion. Atletico Madrid, there's new champions.
Did you say Scotland?
Scotland. So it's European football's so interesting. So many leagues going down to the final day. You get caught in England, the zombie league. And you think
City winning their 4th title.
There's one thing to play for. Who gets that 4th spot? Relegation's decided ages ago. So it's just it's a poor experience.
It's tough. I mean, you got to blame I blame the other leagues because Italy has a great story to tell. Listen, the only way we'll hear your story, and I'm with you, Paulo, by the way. So I've always had a travel bug. I always thought that, but actually then I realized, hey, you're not a 13-year-old teenage girl on Instagram. Stop saying that. My parents moved around when I was young. No, I didn't have a travel bug. Stop saying that. I'm not, who was a Scarlett Johansson and that terrible crew in Traveling Pants.
Traveling Pants.
No, that's not who I am.
James's pants went traveling. I hope they come back soon.
Hey-oh. Yeah, James, that was a bit weird when you stood up in the intermission and you were completely just in your birthday suit.
Because, let's just say that we saw a lot of baggage.
Yeah, or
low-hanging baggage.
I saw less than I thought I would see, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Do you know what I mean there, James?
No.
So, James, go fetch your traveling pants.
Yeah, just put on pants. James, we're a visual show.
I'm not investing in this. I'm just
we're
not.
a visual show.
I refuse to invest.
Yeah, all right. But travel is everything, dude. And hey, let's get into this a bit, Paulo. You don't know the door you've just opened here. I only now realize why my mom killed herself.
Wait, what?
No, it's a metaphor, James.
But that's just a bit of a drastic place to take a pause.
No, it actually is an analogy because you've given some analogies which aren't actually what people say. Remember when people say, hey, you know what people say? And people actually say, oh, I killed myself today trying to. It doesn't mean I'm dead. It means I worked my hands to the proverbial bones, which is another analogy, actually.
Yeah, but don't say, my mother killed herself. To do that break that you had there was inconvenient and
put
too
the
long.
emphasis on the wrong syllable.
There you go.
So it's Mike Myers. Good pull there, by the way. Mike Myers, phenomenal. What's that movie called?
I think it was one of the Austin Powers.
Do you think?
On the wrong syllable.
Oh my goodness! Here is the question from that movie. High Up. That's the movie. Summing Up. In that movie, he's an air host, isn't he?
Oh, there is that movie. No, I think emphasis on the wrong syllable is an Austin Powers thing.
It's probably Googleable.
Is it? Okay, either way, in the Higher Up, now that I've just thought about it with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes.
Do you think she's wearing the JJ candles scent that she sells? Probably, huh?
She definitely smells of it, whether it's the candles or the inspiration for the candles.
Just her life, yeah.
How would you do such a thing? I saw...
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of which, one of the Kardashians...
Awesome.
Sorry, just interrupt. It is the flight movie.
Oh,
it's the one where the chick wants to become the flight attendant and he's the man in charge.
Is that emphasis on the wrong syllable?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Sorry.
Okay. What's it called?
Trying to look now.
I probably don't acknowledge Mike Myers in anything other than Austin Powers and
Sure, fair enough. Conditioning, like you said, the Premier League.
Cats in the Hat.
View from the top.
View from the top, yeah.
One of the Kardashians, her boyfriend gave her a candle that smells like her orgasm.
That's
No,
impossible.
you're lying.
I just saw a thing. I didn't research it.
Wait, he gave her a present that smells like her orgasm.
It's from Gwyneth Paltrow's collection because Gwyneth Paltrow just keeps celebrity orgasms. you know.
That's awesome.
Do you know which Kardashian it was?
They're all equally ridiculous.
The one with the dark hair.
Yeah.
She was.
Wow.
It's one of the originals, not one of the reboots.
So it's either
It's not Kim.
so it's Courtney or Chloe, right?
Courtney. It's a Courtney name. I think it could be that one.
Courtney.
Lamar
Lamar Odom. Lamar
she's
Odom's
dating
No,
Blink
Courtney's
182.
Yeah, she's dating Travis Barker from
one of the greatest drummers of all
Blink
time.
182.
I like that you said she's dating Blink-182.
That's such an old guy thing to say, isn't it? You
It's
just like you
awesome.
don't separate it.
No,
from,
but it's you're right. Travis Barker.
maybe that's how they
is-
got the smell.
Yeah,
The whole club, the whole band compared. I don't know. I'm
maybe she,
making
listen.
spurious accusations.
You know what? Brings a change. Not a black guy. Weird. Because the Kardashians, they like to get into mixing the paint, James. You know what I'm saying? So, and also, James, I need to explain to you now at this stage that it's not real paint, because you seem to have a problem with analogies. That this is not mixing actual paint to make another color.
Kardashians, eh?
Orgasms.
Like they need us to talk about them.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, Kardashians.
Yeah, it's bothering them now. Now what we're talking about. Anyway, the travel thing, I think, is where we were at some stage with the football thing. Huge thing, and something that I've realized is, you know, I don't believe in luck, so I've done what I've done to travel and go and watch football in different places. And yes, I'm Premier League centric, but my God, you know, when I still think of the memories of watching Juventus at the old stadium, you know, and watching the Milan derby, and you think to yourself, my God, that's real. And I blame the countries. There's something wrong with the football association, because you've got an awesome story to tell. You do, especially now, because we're going retro. You should want to be telling us those rich stories of Italia, sort of 85 to 97. Well, like people want to hear those stories and be cool and be edgy, and is it Copper 90 do a nice job of kind of getting into all that stuff. You know, the Portuguese stories it should be awesome. Like, by the way, and I know Paulo hates this every time I say it, because he has a deep hate for Jose Mourinho, clearly. I don't know what's self-hate.
It's not a hate. It's not a hate.
It's just a severe
It's
dislike.
it's a balance.
It's
It's a balanced view.
But he dominated the first 5 years of the 20th century of European football. He went back-to-back treble, and he changed it all, and he came to England, the league that everyone tells us is impossible. And this is when Fergie was properly flying. Don't give me it's just money. United outspent everybody for 2 decades. I don't want to hear just money. Mourinho came in there and changed the temperature of the whole Premier League. He essentially ended Arsene Wenger's relevance.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear that story. What happened? Nobody tells us that he was with Sir Bobby Robson at Barcelona. Nobody tells us that he worked with people like Ronaldo. No one tells us about his father being a goalkeeper back in the day and taking him everywhere, coaching. You know, I'm obsessed with football and I'm a lonely bachelor, so I know these things. But these are awesome stories. Yeah. He should be, and I know this will sound crazy, but he should be, in the football context, a Mandela type of figure to say, look what we did. And again, maybe it's the Portuguese thing of...
it's garish. That's what the French and the Portuguese and the Spanish...
No, fair enough.
Garish English. Look at them. Yobs shouting about their leagues.
I'm with
you. We'll not stoop to that.
Yes.
We'll just make our own Super League and break away.
Ooh, too soon, huh?
Hey, the story of the Dragao. Tell us about... But I'm with you, Paulo. Listen, variety is the spice of life. James, you must always remember that. Please don't buy your girlfriend a candle that smells like her orgasm. Do not do that, James. Listen, Gwyneth Paltrow named her child Apple.
That was that setup was way too easy for me, and it took everything in my power to sidestep that. Took everything in my power to
What he said to me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's just move on to the Apple.
I want us
Stay
to move on
professional.
also.
Yeah.
on the Apple. Let's move to the Apple.
Yeah, Paulo stayed professional then. Real thing. Big hosting there by Paulo. It was a layup.
I felt like Batistuta and Goeiekosh there, just slipped it through, and all I had to do, tap in, but I didn't take it.
Shout out Roy Carroll, by the way. Unforgettable Batty goal. Speaking of that combo, nice combo there, 1-2 punch. You can go on YouTube, Fiorentina Batty goal, Batistuta, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. He basically destroyed the life of a football, and Roy Carroll's life has never been the same.
the same.
All right, let's move on. James,
That is my name.
you know, it's 2021. And people now,
Correct.
old people like me and Paulo going, hey, what's on the wireless? What are you watching on the television? What's on, what's on the local broadcaster? When is Kruiwagen on? I want to hear what the news is. When is Agenda on? Hey, that's what us old people are saying. But you know what the young people are doing? They're going, shut the hell up, old people. Get the hell out of my face. Are we having dinner together? Forget that. Families should fall apart. You know why? Because I want to stay in my room on my cell phone. My cell phone now, by the way, size of a screen, might as well be on social media. And right now is your time to shine, James, because you are young, you are moving, you are grooving. Social media with James.
That was a layup and a half, huh?
Oh yeah.
I got a lot to live up to here.
Oh yeah.
Good Lord.
What
All
you
right.
got, what you got for us, Jimbo?
Well, first piece of news that probably a lot of people already know, and it is part of our poll today, Cliff C Sport on Twitter.
All right, tell us what the poll is before we get into it, James.
So the poll today, like I said, forms part of our first social media topic.
Alrighty.
Also, if you go to our Twitter
Mhm.
or our Facebook or our YouTube homepage, you will notice that there is a new graphic there.
James, pretty proud of that.
Of the boys.
Big designing. Just got it out there. James
I just thought I'd put it out there.
doing big things. James, love it. Looks phenomenal. By the way, go to our social media pages, like that, share it, use it if you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can.
Use the banner, copy it. We're happy for you to replicate it. Just spread it out there.
100 times.
And great designing by James there. James, not just a pretty face, not just a great beard, but also great design at Jimbo.
It's hard.
Let's get into it.
It is hard being perfect. Cliff C Sport on Twitter. Our poll today is Harry Kane is unhappy at Spurs and decided he wants to leave the club. The question is, where do you want to see Kane playing football? Your options are League One, La Liga, Bundesliga, or stay at home. We've had a couple of votes so far, and the majority, 83.3%, of people are saying stay at home. So he should stay there at Spurs.
Or in England, I mean.
Or at England.
But didn't he say he wants to leave to another Premier League club? That's what I was saying yesterday. Told Levy
Is that what he said?
he wants to leave for it. He wants to leave, but for another Premier League club, because he wants the record. That's what he said. That's what I read last night. That's what he wants to leave for Premier League.
There's no way.
Crystal Palace. I see Roy Hodgson go for Crystal Palace down the road.
Yeah, and Roy
I
would
think
love
that's the vibe.
and Roy would love him.
Roy.
There's no ways he'd leave England because, number one, he goes elsewhere. He's not a cult figure,
And no one can afford him outside of England.
quite frankly. And also, why leave? From a business point of view, it makes no sense. Where else are you going to be on TV as much as you are globally? So from a business point of view, it makes absolutely no sense. He's not getting the Shearer record. He must forget about that because he's just too injured now. By the way, he's now getting injured, a big injury every season, and he takes 6-7 games to get back into it. Folks, he would
Still
have
the top scorer though in the league.
in the league.
With that,
But he's so far behind now. I mean, we're talking 261. James, while I'm going on, will you just look how many goals Harry Kane is on
This
right
season.
now? No, overall.
for the all-time
It's 100 and a
Premier League
bit.
record, yeah.
But why leave? Why leave England? It makes no sense. It's the place to be when you're him. Because also, I think people don't realize this. And I was speaking to a former Premier League footballer about how little sometimes the big guys' decisions are their own. You must remember there is the English FA involved in that decision. And the Premier League are going to step in there and say, Harry...
Well, he's England captain, so that's a huge...
You've got...
thing, yeah.
By the way, and also Wayne Rooney should have probably been dropped 2 or 3 years before at England, right?
Beckham left as England captain.
I think Beckham was on the way out anyway. I
Was he
think,
England captain when he left?
but even then, I just think that was...
Holloway.
And you know what? I think Beckham was probably more polarizing than Harry Kane. Harry Kane is the corporate dream. He is the corporate dream. And if there's anything the FA are, is corporate, right? They're going to go, listen, Harry, no, not now. And if the Premier League also, let me tell you an interesting story about the NBA. A guy called Chris Paul was about to change the face of the NBA, and he was going to join Shaq and Kobe at the Lakers. And the commissioner stepped in and said, niche, because of the product. Right? So people mustn't think the high-ups don't get involved in this stuff, because he said if Chris Paul goes there, then the product's over, right? I need my stars spread around the league. And a really, really interesting story. when Harry Kane.
It's different though because the Premier League's not centralized, so you don't have a centralized body. So then you wouldn't ever have had. And I know I'm going a bit further back. You wouldn't have had Shearer going to Newcastle. You wouldn't have Rooney or Van Persie going to United.
Well, I think they don't. Van Persie, we don't care. I'm talking about the FA and England because England
captain.
Kane's a different marketing beast because let's just say he goes to Real Madrid, you lose him for half the year.
Never mind that. I mean, he's trapped. He's absolutely trapped because he's priced out of anyone but probably PSG, right outside of Europe.
Sure,
he completely priced out. In England, probably only United because Levy's you can go. But it's against my will. I want 150 million. Who besides United and City can afford that? And do either need him? We all know United are going to buy him. We all know we're going to spend 170 million on him and then throw all our plans out because the Glazers want to make fans happy. And what better way to make the fans happy than give them the England captain? So we all know that's going to happen. So this conversation is moot. But anyway, he's trapped. I don't see logically, and we know football doesn't work on logic, how he gets out of Spurs.
Do you know what I think?
This summer.
I also, honestly speaking, as a Chelsea fan, I still wouldn't take him now because I've seen the injuries. And that scares me. Like, the last 3 seasons, I don't like the injuries. Injured at 27 is hobbled at 30. And for me, that scares me so much.
We're talking about Paulo Futre earlier. His big injuries came at 27. And he was done. He just floated thereafter.
So, I mean, James, how many goals is Harry Kane on?
He is on 165.
So he's 100 behind. So what he would need to do, he's
40 goals a season for 5 years.
So it's not happening. It's not happening.
30 to 40 goals.
You must remember Shearer also played in the league with 4 more games a season for a little bit early on Premier League. So listen, it's not happening. Just get the record thing, get that out of your head because he's not staying at the top for another 5 years to get 20 goals a season. It's just not happening. Like, forget that.
And Shearer took penalties. He did everything. United, he's not taking penalties. He's not taking free kicks. So all of a sudden it gets harder to get that record.
And also, excuse me, I know the thought is you move to Man United, you maybe double your goals. No. Because Greenwood's not passing to you like Son does. You're not at Man United. Then who? Harry? Who? But I'm Marcus Rashford.
But even at City, the way they play, their scorers, they got 5 or 6 guys on 13 goals. That's their top goal scorer, 13 goals. The way the team plays is not for one guy to score everything. So also, even that doesn't work for him.
Also, City's playing style is very, very far away from Kane's playing style in the sense that City rely heavily on the feed the ball from the wing backs and then over the last defensive line to get, just beat the offside trap. Kane's not fast enough to do that. So it's going to have to be a whole sort of Kane is the target man in the box, and they can't really do their strategy that they usually do in the Premier League.
James, what about Liverpool?
Yeah.
What about Liverpool? Got money to burn.
Hey, that's not a bad shout.
Got fans you need to got owners need to put fans on side.
Plus methodical. I mean, Harry's methodical. He's basically
need a shake-up. That Liverpool squad need a shake-up.
Plus, he's Firmino with the finishing. Maybe I don't like him maybe as much as I like Firmino, but the finishing. That's not a bad shout.
And I'll tell you, Salah or Mane, one of them's going. One of them is gone this summer. One is gone this summer.
We'll talk about that.
One is gone.
If not today, definitely tomorrow. 100%. That is a great shout. I hadn't even put them on the list because they're not going to be in the Champions League this year.
Who? Liverpool?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. What's the story?
So pull it all together. Liverpool make Champions League. Salah or Mane, one of them is gone.
No, they're definitely gone for 160, 170.
Easy.
Jota goes in. Salah will go. Somebody's going.
And the Jota thing's a problem now because he's getting it's 2 big injuries now. That's terrible, isn't it? And he's a great player, by the way.
It's very annoying because
don't speak about my little Jota.
No. I really
boy in maroon. Huh?
Although
he's still young.
You know who I prefer those. I'd still take Pedro Neto. My God, he's 19. But hey, both great. Portugal, are they both? No, they're not fit for the Euros. Neither.
Pedro Neto's definitely out. Jota's a race against time. He'll probably in a squad of 26. They'll probably take him just to hopefully gets up to speed during the tournament.
Just don't injure him again.
But anyway, Liverpool. So Liverpool's not a bad shout if he's going to stay in England.
That is a great shout. Although, you know what the Liverpoolians don't like is a Londoner. Last time we had one, his name was Raheem Sterling. He left us high and dry. And that's a real divide. You know that, Paulo.
He did.
Listen, North-South divide in the UK is for real. They do not like those Southerners, not one bit. So, Harry. Also, you know what? I know I sound crazy. I just don't think the powers that be will let him leave the big markets. It's going to be United, City, Chelsea, not Arsenal, obviously. But because Harry Kane, I wouldn't think of him. It's like Wayne Rooney at the end. I was wondering, what the hell is Rooney still doing in the squad? But I really thought about it. I thought, oh, no, you have to have him in. He's Mr. United. It's all about the money as well. Harry Kane doesn't just come with, he comes with English captaincy. And also, for the first time, my God, we've actually got an Englishman. You know, Harry Kane represents, I think sometimes we underplay how much this corporate side is. I honestly, and I know I sound mad, Paulo, and it's not centralized. I think the big ups, the big guys stand in. If Florentino Perez puts in that 200 million and they accept it, say, Daniel, we're going to have to take a seat here. We're going to have a serious conversation. We cannot lose that because he's a massive stream of revenue.
Also, so many fantasy league points. Because England captain automatically gets 3 bonus points.
That's so true.
Really?
Watch that. Watch fantasy league since I've been playing. Whoever's England captain automatically get the man of the match points.
I like that. James believed you.
No, I promise you, from Terry to Rooney, the England captain and the Harry Kane will always get, because you know, man of the match, they go 3-2-1, the 3 best players. England captain will always get 3 or 2 points just for playing. Watch it. Lampard used to get it as well. Watch it. That's the key, my friend.
I skipped out on fantasy league this season.
Do you know what we need? Conspiracy theory music. Like we got to get some, James. We need to look. We need to look up some conspiracy music that isn't obviously the music that'll get us banned. Oh,
we have our Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music.
Nah, that's for a different thing. That's a whole different genre.
Yeah.
It's
taken a leave of absence for a while due to my laziness.
Yeah. No,
that means you have an ego.
That's going to happen.
Due to me waiting for Pogba to score more goals. So I got more material.
Oh, man. That is awesome. All right. Hey, geez, good one there. Harry Kane.
Harry.
All right, Harry. I'm happy for him, dude. He seems like a good dude.
He does.
I hope it works out at Spurs, but probably not. They probably do need to. My prediction, Man City. If I'm Man City, I'd probably get him and Haaland, by the way. I don't just get one. I would find a way to...
It's overkill, guys. It's overkill.
Financial steroid the books and get both of them because that's how you secure the future.
Ultimately, it's not going to happen.
Oh, then they got Jesus as well.
It's not going to happen.
Never.
Yeah, but he's not going anywhere other than United, City, Chelsea.
I don't think it happens anyway. It's just wrong time doesn't work out.
Hey, by the way, also, one thing I know for sure, things get out because people want them out. Sometimes players negotiate through the media. Harry Kane might be going, listen here, Daniel, because he's not that personality. He also doesn't want to be a villain.
I also think it's less so about contracts, more about the manager. He's probably floating around there going, I don't want Ryan Mason as my manager. You know?
And I want to say...
Get me someone big and I stay. And that's probably his game.
And again, brilliantly said. I think sometimes players negotiate through the media and stuff only gets out if either side wants it. His agents probably had a word and said, no, Harry, this ain't going to work. There's 3 or 4 players. I've lined up conversations. We need to get them, and we've got a manager lined up. And also, Harry, this is your time to go into your legacy stage because he's now shown he's a player, right? He's gone through the development. There's 3 phases I always say in a career. Development, get yourself known. There's the I need to become an animal. You've shown you're an animal. Now get into the legacy phase. Now you should have a say. Well, why don't you have a say when Daniel does stuff? And this is how you negotiate it. Because otherwise, Daniel, we're out of here. Because, hey, maybe PSG already, fake, these agents will do anything. So, hey, Harry.
I reckon it's more about a manager player.
Well
I reckon it's more about saying, get in someone top class here.
And do you think he wants to have a say? Because if I'm Harry Kane, I want to say. By the way,
he should have a say.
I want to be in the interview as well.
Club captain, he should have a say.
England captain.
Should have a say.
Yeah. Come on, Harry.
I don't know. I just don't see Harry Kane as that kind of guy, though.
I see Harry Kane as you do not, and everyone knows, and Mbulelo knows, you do not get to that level without being that sort of guy.
No way.
A goal-hungry, greedy goal-getter, England captain, you do not get there without being that. Every professional sportsman is that kind of guy.
Ruthless. You have to. He's the England captain, but plus he knows. He knows what the game is. He knows it's about legacy now.
Spurs are building themselves on him.
He knows.
He knows because you're building yourself on me. I want says.
He knows, dude.
I want.
No, he knows. He knows, and he's the guy, and he's savvy. Good for him, dude.
Speaking of things that were built on people, a new player has been inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame.
How many is that now?
They're up to 3 now. Eric Cantona
Ridiculous.
is the new inductee.
That is so stupid. Honestly, I haven't seen this. That is so dumb. That is so dumb. Eric Cantona is in ahead of Ryan Giggs. That is so dumb.
Ryan Giggs not gonna happen.
Why is Eric Cantona in ahead of Roy Keane? It is so stupid. But again, do they let the people vote? Is this the one where they let people vote?
Yeah, this is where we did.
No,
we
then it
gave
makes
our
sense.
predictions. Remember?
Then it makes sense. Okay. Then I get it because people are idiots.
Eric Cantona.
Idiots. It's a popularity contest.
Well, listen, Ryan Giggs isn't getting in right now with
He's got stuff
with
going.
what's going on with him. So,
But Keane, Vieira, there's so many people with better careers.
they're all going to be in there. It's like a slow burn.
No, but
And it makes sense that, I mean, do you take the 2 greatest goal scorers, right? And then you take the first major influential figure, right? Then Rooney will be next. It's just a roll call. It's like opening up cards on FIFA Ultimate Team.
But why are we presuming Cantona should be in? What's he got? 2 titles. I see. Again, this is no.
It's very biased.
Yeah, why is Cantona in?
I'm very biased, but how can Cantona not be in?
But why is he in? Because he's a cult figure.
Yeah.
Is Matt Letizia going to get in?
And not just Matt Letizia should get in.
Paulo Di Canio?
Why not?
Where do we stop?
It's a big haul. It's a big haul.
They probably invest a lot of money.
Look at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Everyone's in there.
Yeah.
Homer Simpson's in there.
That's what it's going to turn
An
into.
episode of The Simpsons is in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
It's why the only Hall of Fame,
Wow.
the only Hall of Fame I take seriously is the NFL one. I think there's still only, after 100 years, there's only about 300 people in.
Because you got to fight to get in, physically fist fight. In the Baseball Hall of Fame, an episode of The Simpsons, Homer at bat, where he gets a whole lot of ex-baseball players.
Oh, yeah?
In the episode to be in the team, that episode was inducted into Baseball Hall of Fame. So anything goes.
Yeah. No.
Everything goes.
Okay, then when you put it like that.
Free for all.
Eric Cantona. I mean,
Interesting.
but I just want you to know my opinion. That is a joke. That is hilarious. The fact that Ashley Cole didn't get in before him.
He will get in. It's only 3.
But why is Cantona getting in now?
Bruh, you
Start with the top goal scorers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Influential foreigners. Going to be an influential Englishman. So Wayne Rooney will probably be next.
Yeah, for sure.
Then he'll be a manager. It's just progression. That's how that works.
You don't get a bigger trophy or anything. It's
Yeah.
just how it's playing out now.
I still don't think Cantona should be in
And
there.
you want to be in there. Oh, Cantona. I mean, Shearer and Henry already dusty. By the time Cole gets in there, what this thing's going to look like?
He'll be 400th in.
Oh,
Yeah. They'll probably let Rooney in before Giggs. And then I'll stop watching.
Giggs not getting it.
He's not, eh?
Giggs
It
not
is
getting-
corporate. It is
Giggs
corporate.
Sorry,
not
buddy.
getting it.
He's going through some stuff.
That's terrible, actually.
It is
John
awful.
Terry is on the shortlist, though. Speaking
JT.
of players that are
Terry's in next, not Rooney. Terry's in next.
club captain,
Terry's in next. You don't have Chelsea in there.
Oh, that's
True.
tough.
Terry will be in next.
Terry before Adams.
Because you already got Henry. So
you know what I
Arsenal's
think they're going to do? They're going to take one cult figure from each club,
there.
right? So they've done, who've they done? Man United now. They've done
How's
done
David
Newcastle,
Beckham feeling
Arsenal.
Newcastle, Arsenal.
They've
They
done.
need to do Liverpool, Chelsea,
So it'll be Gerrard.
Gerrard or
Or Terry.
Owen.
about it? No, not Owen.
Well, Owen's on the shortlist. I'm just saying.
Owen was youngest scorer at one point, so Owen's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
It's a joke.
It is a joke. It's not for reals.
Yeah,
reals.
it is. It's not for real.
It's
Okay.
just for,
I got two into
just
it.
for idiots to debate about.
Yeah.
for
it's true.
lols, just for broadcasters to debate.
Shout out to Cantona, by the way. If you have not seen him be in an interview, he just goes off on a Shakespearean rant at all times. Super interesting, electrifying interview.
Who? Eric Cantona.
Oh yeah.
Have
he's-
you seen his? I don't know if it was like an acceptance speech.
I know what
It
you're
was at
talking
the
about.
it was at the football awards where
Yeah.
he just went off,
Yeah,
and
but-
it was just like
But never mind, he shows up like he had just walked off one of his yachts. Everyone's in tuxedos. He comes in looking like Uncle Bulgaria from the Wombles. It's just fantastic. It's a moment of my year.
Yeah, and I do love Cantona, so
That was pre-pandemic insanity.
pre-pandemic.
That's what I
huh?
enjoyed.
shout out Eric.
Some kind of heartwarming news.
Let's
Cool
hear it.
news.
Yeah.
So there was a football player by the name of Kian Prince who played for QPR's academy. He was murdered 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But what they've done now is, so today's the anniversary of his death. What EA Sports have done, they've sort of immortalized him, which I think is really cool. They've given him like a player card in the game, and you can play with him. He plays for QPR. They've given him the number 30. It's like a whole thing. And I think that's actually really, really cool. As far as I know, QPR has also retired the number 30 jersey.
And I think the training ground's going to be renamed after him.
Yeah.
EA Sports are really good at stuff like that, of remembering players or bringing real life things. Black Lives Matter and the no room for racism and all that was incorporated in the game. They're really good at things like that. But that's a tragic story. I was reading it earlier.
Yeah.
Really sad story.
Just stopping a bullying incident.
Yeah, that's tough.
Wow. So
That's awful.
I think,
Yeah, that's what big platforms are for. Just that's being human.
Be good, guys.
I love that. Yeah.
Be good, guys. And no loot boxes, please. Thank you. EA Sports.
And no European Super League.
Next FIFA game. Sorry, you've just said it now. You have to have one game a season where your game gets cancelled because Man United fans show up. They have to. Hey, do you want your game to be realistic or not?
It's good stuff.
I'm just saying.
That is incredible.
I'm just saying what I'm saying.
Wow. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Guys, a Chinese businessman bought a club.
I love this story.
Me too.
Teaser.
He bought a second-tier Chinese side and told the coach, I'm now the owner. You will play my son. You want to know what his son looks like?
I wish you'd put the graphic up.
So the thing
People should have
goes
seen
is that, like, this isn't the first time this happens. You know, despots. Gaddafi basically bought one of the Italian clubs so that his son could play for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good Lord.
But the sons always like have some sort of aspiration, look like footballers. This guy looks like he looks like a gamer. Let's put it that way.
He looks like a football.
He looks like a football. Let's just say that football shirts in the 90s were very baggy and now they're not. He should have been wearing a 90s football shirt.
Yeah.
If you know what, Paula's been kind. Let me tell you what the guy actually looks like. He looks like an Asian Eden Hazard, really.
No.
Because Eden Hazard's looked like he's been in the third trimester for a year and a half now.
Even Hazard would go, yo, that boy's fat.
No, he does look plumpy. The lad's healthy. Hey, James, you'd say he's having 3 meals a day, no problem.
Who's this guy that's playing for
the Chinese bloke, yeah.
I don't think he's
with
without
snacks.
a meal.
No, with snacks. Yeah, he's obviously having 3 meals a day, obviously with dessert for every
Is his father a millionaire or a billionaire?
Probably a billionaire.
gajillionaire.
He looks like he's the son of a billionaire.
Yes.
Paulo says he looks like a gamer. Okay. Offensive, because I'm a gamer. But I don't think you're wrong, because he probably sits there with like his snacks and then plays FIFA or whatever.
No, not FIFA. FIFA's too fast paced. This is one of those long,
like Age of Empires back in our day, kind of where they're landing.
Because FIFA, you got natural breaks within the game that you can get up, even if it's just a walk to the fridge, you're moving.
Yeah,
those long games.
So he's playing like League of Legends.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, Dota and that stuff.
Yeah,
he looks like a live action version of an Asian Eric Cartman.
He looks like a Pixar character that they didn't make merchandise out of.
Yes. Yes, that's actually what the guy looks like. It is one of the best stories. Listen, social media is undefeated. This is one of the greatest stories I've ever heard. What's money for if not to uplift your own family and let them live their dreams?
Whatever, that dude cares less for us. He's playing second division Chinese football.
Hey, listen, my parents come from a working class background. They didn't work that hard to send me to a worse school than they went to.
Oh.
So shout out to this guy, bro.
Exactly.
Nepotism for the win. Incredible. The guy is huge, by the way.
Maybe it's the only way he could get the kid to exercise.
I thought, listen, I just bought a yacht. I'm not letting you on looking like that. And we're going, the yacht's going to be ready in 3 years. Get to it. That's awesome, dude. What a story.
The unfortunate thing is we're just saying what everyone thinks. And I think a lot of better broadcasters than us wouldn't say that. But we obviously go for the cheap gag. So
yeah,
here we are.
Here we are.
Fat shaming.
Yeah, listen.
Hashtag comedy gold.
Nobody's ever said I'm Larry King. Nobody's ever said that.
No,
I don't think anybody would mistake. Yeah, they're not even. It's not like I'm close. I mean, shout out to James, breaking my heart there. I mean, Larry King, my absolute broadcast hero. You're saying not even close, huh?
I just feel like there's a lot of differences.
Yeah, like he's good. Like, let's start there. All right.
He's a natural at his job.
Sorry, he's great, and I'm alive. Is what you're saying?
You're
That's
breathing oxygen. Yes,
no, fair enough. Hey, fair enough. Brutal but fair. Hey, tough but fair.
Gotta say it.
So just to go back to Harry Kane, sorry, I completely forgot about this. Just to make Harry Kane feel a little bit terrible about his life.
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine Defoe has now become the 87th player to have won a trophy after leaving Tottenham in the time since Tottenham last won a trophy. And Harry Kane wants to leave.
Okay, fair enough. Listen, are we going to not talk about Sky Sports doing Steven Gerrard a dirty there?
Oh, that was rude.
Oh, the tagline.
This
If
is
you didn't
FIFA.
see it, by the way, I do like Rangers in that divide. So
That was rude
under
stuff.
Steven Gerrard, when they're interviewing him, they say Steven Gerrard's first title. And you know what?
First career title.
First career title,
Yeah.
first career league title or something like that. And I thought, oh, that's brutal. There
Yeah.
must be an Everton fan in the mix at Sky Sports there. That's brutal, James.
He didn't win the league title though, Steven Gerrard. Never. He didn't.
He did not, yeah.
Called by some their greatest ever player, but didn't win the league title.
Well, he's
I don't
won
know.
one league title now.
Yeah.
Not
One
fully.
of them.
So,
But who
Greatest
did
ever
that? You know, they know what they're doing there, huh? To Stevie G. They
Yeah,
know.
cheeky,
They sat in the room. They knew what they were
cheeky
doing.
sausages.
You know.
Cheeky buggers.
Completely outside of sports, before I jump into the comments of the YouTubes, when my phone unlocks itself with my fingerprint, a guy won the lottery in Cape Town.
Sweet.
Sorry, I know this is completely outside of sports,
No,
but
that's
I
sweet.
thought this was
Money's a
interesting.
sweet story.
It's an interesting story, right? So he has chosen to obviously remain anonymous. He won a large amount of money.
Oh, you can say the number. No one knows him.
I didn't screenshot. It's not part of the screenshot.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think it was like 53 million or something. So he won this money. And do you want to know what's first on his list of priorities?
BMW.
Wrong.
I don't know. It's the first thing in my head. 7,000 bananas that say I love you on them.
Kaiser Chiefs.
No, the first thing on his list of priorities, and this is quoted because he was interviewed about it, and this is the quote. First on my list of priorities is to exhume the bodies of my loved ones that have been laid to rest in other provinces and surrounding cemeteries in the Western Cape that are no longer well maintained. This will allow for me to secure a peaceful and final resting place for my family members.
I don't hate that.
Look at that, huh?
Like, I'm not into it. I'm not into heebie-jeebie spirit stuff at all. Wherever you come from in the world, whatever, that's your thing. But being closer, by the way, I presume if he's in the Western Cape, he's a closer dude. That's a real thing, by the way. Like, where you rest is like, there are family fights. It has divided parts of my family with elders, my grandfather in particular, being from half our camp and half Khoisan. There was a huge divide in terms of where he'd be laid, and it's still to this day a real thing. Like, I'm not making it up. It is a dagger in the heart of the family. So, hey, I don't hate that one. I thought it would be much worse than that. So yeah, no,
Interesting.
I get it. I totally, especially when they don't maintain it. Like, again, for
Yep.
me, cremate me and throw me in the Drakensberg. You know, I've told my mom now, and it kills her, by the way. Super religious. My mom wants to do the whole ordeal. Hopefully my mom doesn't have to bury me. James, don't put that kind of energy on me. You know, that's her nightmare on earth. But real thing. I like that. That's a cool way to spend your cash, dude.
I just thought it was interesting to see the sort of differences in culture almost. Like you say, you've experienced your stuff with your family and where people have been sort of buried, and it's almost torn like half your family apart. This guy's priorities are on his former loved ones that have passed away. So, and I mean, like to someone like me, that would be probably the furthest thing from my mind because it's not a thing in my life. So I thought it was interesting.
That's awesome. Paulo, you your thoughts?
I'm just going to say something asinine. So, next question.
Let's not offend many cultures. Let's just move on.
Oh man, that is some good stuff. That is some good stuff. But hold on. So lottery, you ever thought about 25 mil, James? What do you do? 25 mil. Let's say 25. Or let's make it 10 million. Nice round number.
I would invest in my own media production company.
Really?
Yeah. I don't want to win the lottery and then do nothing with the rest of my life. I would travel, and then I would invest.
Would you tell anyone?
that I've won the lottery.
Yeah, like how old are you now, James?
24.
Yeah, would you tell anyone?
Only family and close friends that I know for 1,000% that I can trust.
Okay. Do you tell your girlfriend? Because that's the real tricky one. And I shouldn't have put you on the spot, but it's too late now. I've already said it.
That is an interesting question.
Yeah, that's tough, huh? Give it some thought. I don't want you just answering because you want to answer. That's a tough one. Paulo, do you tell your girlfriend?
Well, I have to tell my wife first.
Yeah.
My girlfriend will just find out via the grapevine.
Good answer, by the way. Thought I'd trap you there. Ever thought about the lottery, winning it?
Yeah, it'll become very evident that I've won the lottery very, very quickly.
Are you there?
Oh, no.
Paulo now.
The Falcon suit that I'll buy direct from Marvel.
Actually,
will be
hold
the
on.
first giveaway.
Sorry, Paulo, before you give your answer. Paulo now, as an industry pro, somebody who's doing well, you know, his wife isn't one of these yuppie northern suburbs. Being a mom's a full-time job. She's working as well, and they have a child. So don't give me your yuppie nonsense. She's grinding, right, Paulo? She's working, right? Full-time.
Correct.
So they're creating a base at home, an economic base for their child and family future, right? That's happening in Paulo's house. Both parents working, grinding. What I like about where Paulo's going is Paulo now, it is very clear that he's going to spend his money on shoes. So I know, like now it's clear to me that he's up to stuff with his money. So Paulo, if you won the lottery,
I would go first arrange a very elaborate kidnapping of Pharrell. Okay?
For Williams.
Pharrell Williams. Okay? And say, right, Pharrell, I know you got the ins to make shoes. Make me custom Pharrell ice creams. That's what I want. I want Pharrell shoes. But I don't want them to look nice, though. I said, you have all the means in the world to make me the worst pair of shoes ever. Just think about the worst pair of shoes you can ever design, and I want them. And if they sing a song out of the tongues of the shoes, I'm not hating it, right? So now everyone will know I'm collabing with Pharrell on these crazy new shoes.
Yes.
The day he delivers them to me, what a stink I'll make. Pharrell, these are the worst shoes ever.
Oh my God, I love this.
Discredit Pharrell and shoot him out of the cannon that I bought.
Would you wear these? Just a quick question.
That is awesome.
These are Adidas and Kanye West.
Oh, those ones.
Well, people can't see it. James, we wouldn't have to post that on
there.
the...
They're those weird croc-looking things. People would be familiar with them. If you see Kanye West, or again, for the second time today, Kardashians, they tend to wear those. Yes,
They're the newer Yeezys is what they are.
You know, James, with my lottery winnings, I'd go to Kanye West and say, Kanye, your shoes, imagine them as a car. Now make it that for me. Forget a Tesla. I want Kanye West shoe, the car.
See,
but I don't want to be able to get inside it. I want to be sitting outside like a little noddy car
like the
with the steering wheel in the middle. That's what I want.
God.
So just take those and put wheels on them, and that's my car. This is what I'm doing. Very evident that I've won the lottery very quickly.
This is
People wouldn't know.
amazing.
People are always like, keep it anonymous because you could be
amazing.
like...
I love that, Paulo. So now in that situation,
I would make a Netflix show about me winning the lottery.
like a highly produced
highly
cinematic. You almost need to make a genre like
behind the balls.
There it is.
Paulo, we need another camera. Yeah, just throw it in there. Get the 6K one.
Forget about that. What I love about that is you almost need to hire like Joaquin Phoenix to give it that, you know, that last level feel.
Huge.
Pay him, and he's just like an assistant director.
That's what I'm saying. No, not involved at all. Just sit there.
Oh, just hang around for the what do you call it? The B-roll stuff. And
No.
Oh, he's just hanging around.
He's sit there.
Just
Just
pop
on the set.
Yeah.
But don't talk to anyone. Don't look at it. Sit in the corner, Joaquin Phoenix. You're getting paid. Don't worry. Just sit there.
And you need to dress Joaquin Phoenix. So, by the way, Joaquin, we'll be telling you what to wear every single day. Sit over there in that chair. Don't be late.
Wasn't he the Joker?
He was a Joker.
He has to sit in the corner as the Joker.
You know what I'd do? No. I'd get Jack Nicholson, Joaquin Phoenix,
Ralph Fiennes,
Jared Leto.
Oh, that's the guy.
And make them fight.
Yes. This is what money's for.
That's what it's about.
Oh my, I'm so glad Paulo was here for this.
That's what I'm doing. Joker fights.
Wow.
This is what money's for. That's
correct.
Awesome. Paulo, you know what? I had expectations, but you just obliterated it.
No, like...
You took it to an 11.
Like we're doing the saving things now and we're doing the traveling things now. No. If I got stupid money, I'm doing stupid things with it. Stupid. If
I won the like American Powerball, like, I need to make this clear to everybody, including my old mumsy. James, by the way, my mom says you're quite handsome. I must tell you that. She said I must tell you that this morning.
Yeah, James is a bit of the stud of the.
Yeah. My mom did.
broadcasters,
My mom said I must tell you that.
fresh faced.
And my mom's not really into. She doesn't really think white guys are handsome. But my mom said I must tell you that you're handsome.
Thank you.
So
Life hasn't kicked him in the nuts yet.
Thank you, ma'am.
yeah,
That's
Good.
what.
have some
He's polite, you see.
have some respect,
What do you mean, ma'am?
James,
doctor.
James's son-in-law. Oh.
Doctor. Have some respect.
Thank you, doctor.
Yeah. Jeez, unbelievable. Disrespect. 10 years of study. Just
Stud of the
study
broadcasters.
and 3 years of 5 years of internship. I mean, just disrespect. Trample all over that. We'll see what she thinks of that. I'll give feedback tomorrow.
Did you want me to smell that she was a doctor? How was I supposed to know that?
I've only said it on the show
He has said it
4
quite a
to
few
500,000 times. But whatever, James, you clearly don't care about what she did to change her life and her family's life. Whatever, cool, James. That speaks more to you than anybody. Paulo, what you would spend money on, that's awesome. I'm here
you.
for all of that.
Vibes.
I win the lottery, though. I'm not kidding. Tomorrow, I disappear. You will never hear from me. But I mean, the Powerball, I can't win 10 million rand and do it. When I win the Powerball, buy an island, I am gone. I die tomorrow. I die tomorrow. I want everybody to know that. That's going to happen.
I'd be too tempted to fire missiles from my secret island. People must know I'm doing outrageous things with the ghost of Michael Jackson.
You
People
just have
must-
like a rocket launcher standing in
Yes.
the middle of nowhere, just shooting it up into
Just
the
up.
sky.
and it explodes in fireworks. Goes, I'm dead. Not really. Hashtag.
Who's the South African Bill Gates? The first guy, Shuttleworth.
Right. I remember that dude.
Yeah.
That dude was all the feelings.
If I got Shuttleworth money, because that's what he did. Hey,
Where's he now?
well, he bought all of those islands around Mauritius or whatever, didn't he?
good for
Remember,
him.
and he sold it. I think Tokyo Sehwale bought one for like 80 million rand.
Billionaires, huh?
That's what I
Must be
do.
nice.
Yeah, you see what you just said about Shuttleworth? That's me, but tomorrow, like the day those zeros land in my account, everything's gone.
Yeah, but you have to go. No, it'll probably take a week. So you have to mentally prepare yourself to wait.
But
because
that's
you
why
have
they
to-
don't give it to you in one go.
Exactly. You have to go to the lotto offices. They have to do a check on you. You have to sign some stuff. Then you have to work out how it's paid.
Yeah, no, listen. Honestly, all of my money's half Cayman Islands, and I pay some of my Swiss friends to do what they do with money. The day I have it, like it's guaranteed, I'm gone. Boom, gone. I am out of here.
Is Paulo hosting the MKT show?
I'm out of here, dude. What? You're asking me city questions. What are you talking about? I'm in my submarine beneath my island with my pet blue whale. What are you talking about? Paulo hosting the MKT show. What?
I was just asking a question.
That's not even a real thing to me. Dude, I got James Cameron at my house. Just, James, what do you think of this theatre? Come sit down. Take a seat.
MKT will replace James and Paulo with James Cameron and Paulo Futre or Paulo Maldini.
That's it.
That will be his new James and Paulo.
No. Hey, real thing. Indoor court on my island.
Is that how much we mean to you, huh?
No, we're gone.
I mean, you're great guys, but when I hit that level of money, Paulo Maldini's coming around and he's playing keeper for the tennis side. Yeah. Paulo Maldini's the keeper on the other team. I want to say, and if he doesn't let me nutmeg him, private helicopter, by the way, you are out of here. Just like, don't know if you saw Vladimir.
You can borrow my rocket. You can strap him to it.
No. Listen, I'm not a monster like you. I'm not a monster. Paulo Maldini, go home. You clearly don't understand that I own this island. Sorry, you need to get out of here. You didn't let me nutmeg you. Because I don't know if you saw Vladimir Putin apparently scored 8 goals in an ice hockey game.
You see, this is another incident of not listening. I said that.
No.
You didn't listen.
No, I'm putting it out there because Paulo may not have heard it.
Oh, I was here
Oh, you were here.
last Friday.
Oh, tough. But what I would do then, that's the kind of stuff I'm doing, right? Is that's what power's for. Come to my island. James, you're not even welcome. Forget it. Because what are you bringing?
Why?
What are you bringing? I don't need a design team. I've got my own island.
Dip.
Oh, that's true.
James can bring dip.
I can bring tip.
Blue Doritos.
I can bring blue Doritos
All right. I'll think about it.
and a couple of beers. I
James
know you
is
don't.
in.
Huh?
James is in. James is on your
I'm in.
I'll think about it.
sex island.
And just
I'm out. I can't go anymore. I'm sick that day. If that's the kind of island it is, I'm busy.
James, let me turn it around there. Probably, I mean, as with anything where guys get too much power and money, it devolves into like some sort of cult. One of the things that will be on my island is Cristiano Ronaldo's bust, which is one of the worst statues of all time.
It got fixed.
Oh, did they fix his face?
Yeah, it's a better one now.
Oh, damn it.
One
Then
at the airport, right?
Then I don't want it.
They borrowed it from one of his clones
Then I,
Ah,
too.
They just have.
I would buy Salford FC from the Nevilles and do exactly to it what the Glazers have done to United.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Troll the world.
Yeah,
Troll.
I'll troll.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll troll the class of
That's what
Incredible.
money's for, dude.
That's what I do.
Have you seen how much Musk trolls people? Like,
Yes.
that's why I love him.
Yeah.
I
But
would totally.
He controls whether Bitcoin drops or like flourishes.
But not even on that level. Like, every now and then he'll just start a tequila company. I don't know if you saw that at a stage.
Really?
Just because, I forget what the one Mexican tequila company's called, and the guy had a go at him, and then the next week he had like a
He bought the
like
company.
no, he had a top line, like limited edition tequila line. Yeah, and he was just marketing.
I know
and
there
it was
is-
mental. He had it on Joe Rogan's show.
I know there's Tesla tequila now. It's like a lightning bolt.
Oh, was it
shaped
that
bottle,
one?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
It was. Yeah. No, he did that because some tequila like Big Shot had a go at him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. See, that is the stuff. That is exactly what Paulo was saying and what Musk do. It's the same thing. That's what money's for.
They
Love
just
it.
Use your social media to troll things like
Spite.
Bitcoin.
I love it. Spite is everything.
Spite.
All right, Jimbo, good stuff. Shall we finish off with some questions?
Let's do YouTube comments, shall we? Zapeta says, MKT bringing up Deportivo, my Man United PTSD that team caused. Isn't that the team that broke Beckham's metatarsal before the 2002 FIFA World
Aldo
Cup?
Ducha.
Correct. Great hair, great flow. Go and look him up. Aldo Ducha, Argentine, mongrel in the midfield.
Played for Sporting. I think he won the league title the last time they won the league.
Aldo Ducha.
Serendipitous.
Yeah, no, it's Argentine guy.
Great name, too.
Nice team that. By the way, they were a cheat on Football Manager as well.
They were, hey?
You could really get in there with them.
For
And
some reason, they had a lot of money.
yeah,
Really?
for whatever reason.
Lol.
Juan Valeron. Oh,
Kutle says, if not for Eder's wonder strike, Ronaldo wouldn't have lifted the Euros. Football is a team game.
So I did have Eder on my list, and I do have it, and Eder is the greatest man to ever play for Portugal.
fair enough. Fair enough. It's a passion sport. It's a
But my segment was Portuguese players you didn't realize were as important as they were. Eder, we know how important he was.
No, he's the jeez. Is he making money for the rest of his life off that? Huh?
Oh, definitely never has to buy a drink in Portugal again.
Yeah,
Didn't work out. Goes to Swansea, nothing.
No.
I think he's in Lokomotiv. I think he's in Russia now.
Ambassador forever, probably on every can everywhere. So he's rich for life.
He's sorted for life. I wouldn't say rich, as they tend, as these cold heroes tend not to be. But I mean, greatest moments.
I hope he's got Matteo Flamini's financial advice team.
Making biofuels.
Yeah, Matteo Flamini, one of the richest men on planet Earth now.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, James. Eder, good stuff.
Rickus says, completely off topic. This was going to be part of social media with James. So the Fury and Joshua fight is in doubt after an independent arbitrator ruled that Fury must face Wilder in a rematch. Rickus wants to know, will Fury versus Joshua ever happen?
It will happen. In boxing, you pay something called step-aside money. Deontay Wilder's now a joke. Anybody who watches boxing realizes that he'll never fight again. He's a broken man. He wants the money. He realizes he has to do it the litigation way. So what you do is pay, because there's about, I was reading some numbers, it's about $800 million all in all in the fight overall for everybody involved. There's $100 million for each fighter. It's going to happen. You pay Deontay Wilder his $20 million step-aside money, and we keep this thing moving. And Deontay Wilder's, he'll never fight again. He's a broken man. Tyson Fury took his soul. So don't worry about that.
Took his whole soul.
Yeah. No, and Deontay Wilder's a bum. By the way, the way he's responded to it, it's been revolting. And I love boxing.
He is a shadow of his former self.
No, he's a bum, dude. You got beaten by a better man, and
Yeah.
he's a bum. Like, that's bum behavior. I just think in life, if somebody's better than you, and it eventually, he exposed him twice, because actually Tyson Fury won the first fight as well by a mile. But yeah, Deontay Wilder's a bum. That's what he is. He's a bum. Get him out the way. Pay him $20 million to go away. And I've always told you this, James. I think I've told you before. If anybody ever needs money from you, you should never give them the money they ask you for. Give them enough money to go away. And then you know what they're really about. So pay him 20 mil and let's see if he wants to come back and fight. Doubt it though. Bum. A disgrace to boxing. I've said it.
How do you really feel?
Oh, yeah.
Kutle says somebody must have told Kane that they can afford him. It would be foolish of him to hand in a transfer request and no one can afford him.
I don't think he's handed in a transfer.
No, strategically he
No,
won't
of
because
course
you're in contravention of your contract. He won't have handed in a transfer request.
And also, you also forego your 10% or whatever of the next transfer fee when you hand in a transfer request. So, Harry Kane ain't about that life. No, I don't think he's handed, unless I'm wrong.
I think Harry Kane is playing the manager card because it went after all the best. Oh wait, maybe Ryan Mason's not so bad because 100%. Mourinho was safe till Kane turned against him. So that was Kane going, he's out. So that was the safety net. And now he's going, okay, hold on a second. There's no, Nagelsmann's walked away. You're not really talking about the next manager. I'm hearing Ryan Mason. This is a play to get the manager he wants. So whether it's Allegri or who else is on the market, but whatever it is, I think this is Kane's play to choose the next manager. I better hurry up and get a manager in place.
You better get Brendan Rodgers or I'm gone.
Whatever. It's a play to get the next manager in place. Else I'm gone.
Fair shout.
You'll see that story over the next few days change.
Fair shout. Fair shout, Paulo.
I think Allegri's on his way to Spain.
Real Madrid.
With Real Madrid.
Right, cool.
I don't think he'll take the Tottenham job.
No. He cares about football. No way. No, not a chance.
Paulo, someone agrees with you in the comments.
Good.
How cool is that?
Natural.
Huh? How does that make you feel?
Feels like a normal Tuesday.
Cool. Tabo says...
Love it.
I love the way that went. Tabo says, I think I have to agree with Paulo. United is so predictable. Kane will sign for United because all the other transfers will be terrible and mediocre. That's the reason we signed Cavani.
It is. It's going to be, I do think he's trying to make a play for the manager, but it is predictable that the Glazers need to keep the fans on side. What better way than to get the fans on side? It totally goes against our strategy of what we're doing, which is totally fitting with what the Glazers do. And if there is going to be a natural conclusion to this, if he doesn't stay, it'll be going to United, not fitting in whatsoever. May as well give him the cursed number 9 shirt while you're at it, or number 7. Sorry, the number 7 shirt's been cursed. And just throw all the momentum we seem to have at, a player who's... You can never say Harry Kane's done. But at the same time, we all know what we know about him.
Yeah, interesting.
But I do think he's making a play to get manager talks moving. We
Sure.
don't want another Christian Gross up in White Hart Lane.
Andrew Harrison says, Ali Dia for the Hall of Fame.
Yes, that's the name I was thinking.
That's who you
That is the name I was thinking. I was pointing at you, George, the guy who is George
Yes.
Ware's cousin.
Yeah.
That Graham Souness son. That's, yes. Who said that?
Andrew Harrison.
Andrew Harrison, well done. Ali Dia, great shot. I couldn't remember the name. That's
Andrew
the guy.
also says, if it's significance we're after, Ali Dia deserves it.
100%.
Yeah, no, that's...
Put everything, put the beach ball that Liverpool,
Agreed.
that beat Liverpool.
That needs to go into
Put the beach ball in there.
Yes.
Put
As
the
a
guy who was
Liverpool fan,
remember the guy
I
who's
agree.
brushing his teeth
Yep.
at Chelsea? Put that guy's toothbrush in there.
He was awesome because he said he was late. They interviewed that guy.
Mm.
And he had shades as
He
well.
was
He had
the best.
shades on and his toothbrush in his mouth.
Put the toothbrush in the Hall
Just
of Fame.
behind the players
Agreed.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Agreed.
Perfectly played. I mean, that was, I don't know how you got that right.
no,
Put
just
that in there.
incredible. Yeah. But I just want to say here, you need the ball and the beach ball because otherwise it's not complete. You need the ball and the beach ball that...
And you need Rayner's... Which was the glove that he missed it with?
Yeah, forget that. I just want the ball and the beach ball. The Reina,
Both of them.
overrated keeper, yeah.
I'm just going to move on. I don't want to cry on the show,
Sure.
you know?
Do what you got to do. pal.
Yeah, cheerleader, but we'll move on.
Andrew Harrison says, it's in the game. EA Sports.
It is
It's-
in the game.
It's in the game, guys.
Yeah.
It is in the game.
Dieter also says, this Chinese father buying a club for his son sounds like the Mazepin and Haas deal.
Yeah. Hey, what is money for? Improve your family's life, damn it.
There you go, bro.
Yeah.
Because what was the I think Mazepin was the driver that Haas had to sign because he was that was Mick Schumacher.
I don't know.
Never mind. We'll wait for Spike.
Yeah, I'll wait for
Monaco
Spike.
this weekend. Spike.
I like to be honest.
There you go.
Don't really like motorsport. You know what I mean?
What?
Snorefest, all of it.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, there's cool stories there. And when Spike's here, by the way, you can catch him after every single race. Or you can catch him on Spotify or cliffcentral.com, Cliff Central app, where you can get the podcast, all these places. And soon you'll be able to catch Spike. We will cut out those interviews and have that ready for you to consume if you do like the formula.
Well, it's just called Formula One.
I was just doing the Doppler effect, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Giving everyone that. So, yeah, very good. Is that it, James?
That is all from James.
All right, well, let's get some outro music. And ladies and gentlemen, it has been another Tuesday. Paulo, good Portuguesing today.
It was a bit of it.
That's a verb.
Damn straight.
There was a bit of it.
Yeah.
Portuguesing.
Because you can Portuguese.
I got to say, I'm very conscious of when I say Portuguese players' names. There's a Portuguese podcast I listen to. Very good. Top class stuff. Probably the best English language Portuguese podcast in the world. Got a group of English guys who moved to Portugal 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Love Portugal. Great. The host of it is like me, was Portuguese, born in America. Oh my God. This guy's pronunciations of Portuguese players infuriates me.
Oh, does he go American with it?
No, he goes so over Portuguese, and he's family's descendant from the Azores, which is like a little island of Portugal. So, Figo, right? Luis Figo. That's how you say it. I've even heard Figo say his name as Luis Figo. This guy says Luis Fig. It's not Fig. Not even Figo says it that way. Why do you pronounce it? So anyway, I try not to overpronounce. I try to keep the balance there. But there's that. So
I like the way Paulo says Portuguese name.
Listen,
I try to do
on the way out, we might as well quickly talk about this. There are these dreadful South African people who, hey, where are you going on holiday this year? Oh, we're going to Europe with my family. Where are you going? Barcelona. Why? Why are you doing that?
Barcelona Español.
Yeah, because, that's exactly what it is.
James knows it.
All right, so we know the people we're talking about. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
James just goes to the Algarve where they grow
tequila.
tequila where
place.
they make tequila.
Yeah, I got Formula One and tequila, but
aren't we a little bit earlier tomorrow? For the
oh,
show?
we are. Tomorrow, I am unfortunately off at 12 o'clock. Got to be somewhere. Tragic event, but we are not on regular time, so we'll be an hour earlier, 11 to 1 o'clock tomorrow. So make sure to be with us. We'll be live right here on the YouTubes, on the tubes. James, you're great. Paulo, you're awesome. Thank you very much for today, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is MKT. This is the MKT Show. Before you leave us on YouTube, please click like, thumbs up, help us out. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. It has been a great show. A great show. MKT, the MKT Show. To all you sports fans, we are the hell out of here.